Chapter 1149. Chapter 1147. Plan begins. Oh. So you're saying that Lin, Yi, and Yao have nothing to do with each other? Jiang Wen was overjoyed. That should be the case. Their tent can fit 5 people, and if Lin Yi really has something to do with them, why would he go out alone with Xiao Xiao? Tai Zhao analyzed. That makes sense. Does that mean that my chances are quite high? That Meng Yao doesn't like Lin Yi at all, and she's just using him as a shield? Jiang Wen thought about it and slapped his thigh. That's right. I finally understand why that Yushu girl calls Lin Yi shield bro. She's definitely using Lin Yi as a shield, and it has nothing to do with Lin Yi at all. And bro, you're a godly man, coming up with such a brilliant theory. You could be a detective. You're the famous detective Immerse. Tai Zhao felt that Jiang Wen's words made sense. I knew it. No matter how strong Peng Zhan is, there's no way he'd marry his daughter off to Lin Yi when Lin Yi already has a girlfriend. What's wrong with that? It'd be fine if Lin Yi was some rich kid, but he's just a bodyguard. What's so great about that? Great. Today's trip was really not in vain. I believe that as long as I keep working hard, I'll win Meng Yao's heart for sure. Jiang Wen was filled with fighting spirit. Let's start our plan A. Plan A? Now? Tai Zhao paused. But the executor of the plan, Gang Lu, isn't here? He's not here, but you are, right? Don't you know how to execute the plan? The 3 of us came up with this plan, so you take over. Jiang Wen ordered with a frown. Ugh, but it's so dark. I'm a little scared by myself. Tai Zhao looked out of the tent and saw that it was pitch black outside. Other than the moonlight, there wasn't a single light to be seen. It was a scary sight on this empty beach. Are you kidding me? You're pretending to be a ghost. People are afraid of you. Okay? You're still afraid? What do you have to be afraid of? People run when they see you. Jiang Wen said hatefully. Why are you such a coward? All right. Tai Zhao had no choice but to nod. Gang Lu wasn't here, so he couldn't just let Jiang Wen pretend to be a ghost, could he? In the plan, Jiang Wen was supposed to catch the ghost and play the role of a hero rescuing a damsel in distress. Who was going to save the damsel in distress if he was the one pretending to be the ghost? With that in mind, Tai Zhao tiptoed out of the tent and went to the trunk of the car to prepare it. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun's tent. The 3 girls were putting on face masks, and it was Tang Yun's first time enjoying something like this. She was looking forward to it. She'd never put on a face mask before, and her family's financial situation didn't allow her to buy such luxuries. It feels so weird. Tang Yun touched her face that was covered by the mask and said curiously, It's not fair. You've never used a facial mask before. Why is your skin so good? Yao sis and I always put on facial masks, and we're only as good as you. Yushu looked at Tang Yun's face, a little depressed as she studied the part of her neck that wasn't covered by the mask. We're young now, so we can't tell. When we get older, I won't be as good as you guys. Tang Yun smiled, but there was a hint of disappointment in her smile. It's not too late now. From now on, you could take care of your skin with us. Your skin won't be too bad in the future, right? The miss felt the disappointment in Tang Yun's voice and quickly explained. Tang Yun sighed lightly. It's expensive, right? I can't afford it. Tang Yun was a little embarrassed when she said it, but she wasn't the type to put on airs. She didn't have money, so what if she was poor? Shield Bro is rich, and he's starting a medicine company now. He'll be a rich man in the future, and I'll have to rely on him for my livelihood. Aren't you the main wife? Why aren't you the second wife? Yushu said. It's not easy for him to earn money, right? Tang Yun knew that Lin Yi was rich, but it wasn't something that could be changed in a short period of time. I think it's pretty easy. The miss who hadn't said anything until now finally spoke. Tang Yun was amused by the miss's words. It seems like Lin Yi's earning money is much easier than Daddy's. Meng Yao said with a serious face. How much is the total assets of Daddy's company? But Lin Yi's company had hundreds of millions of cash flow at the beginning. Hundreds of millions? This concept was too far away for Tang Yun. She had never seen so much money before. It was an astronomical figure, and Tang Yun had never thought about it before. Don't mention hundreds of millions. Even tens of thousands was a huge amount for Tang Yun's family. When she was with Lin Yi, she never thought about how much money he had. And it was the same now. She never thought about being greedy for Lin Yi's money. We'll see. Tang Yun shook her head. Right, Yin sis. Aren't you jealous when you see Xiao Xiao and Shield Bro together? Yushu saw Xiao Xiao calling Tang Yun sis, so she followed suit. No. Tang Yun shook her head. You're so generous. Yushu looked at Tang Yun, wanting to find evidence of her lying. How can I be as generous as you? You keep saying that you want to be the second wife, Tang Yun retorted. It was just a joke. The miss was a little embarrassed, blushing. Shu and I were worried about Lin Yi's safety. That's why we said that. It's not like that. Yao Yao, why won't you admit it? Didn't you say that you like Shield Bro? Yushu was panicking. What did I say that? I said that I don't like him. Meng Yao corrected. Is that so? Did I remember it wrong? Yushu scratched her head, a little depressed. Man, then how am I going to be the second wife in the future? Tang Yun knew a thing or two about the Miss personality after spending some time with her. She knew that Meng Yao didn't mean what she said, and that she cared about face, so she didn't take it seriously. Whether or not Meng Yao had that kind of feelings for Lin Yi, as Lin Yi's girlfriend, Tang Yun, was the most sensitive and clear. But since the Miss didn't admit it, Tang Yun didn't need to expose it. At the very least, the Miss was showing her kindness towards her. Tang Yun didn't have anything to say about it. Chapter 1150. Who's scaring who? Although Lin Yi had expressed his feelings to Tang Yun more than once, Tang Yun still felt that Lin Yi was too outstanding, and she didn't feel comfortable with him, especially when she couldn't help Lin Yi at all. She felt that she was just a vase, pretty but useless. Let's not talk about that. Meng Yao shook her head. It's already the 1st of May. There's only 1 month left until the college entrance exams. Tang Yun, which university do you want to apply to? I don't know. Tang Yun shook her head. But I'll apply to whichever Lin Yi applies to. What about you guys? Meng Yao pursed her lips. Naturally, she wanted to be in the same university as Lin Yi, but she'd said that she didn't like Lin Yi. If she didn't like him, why bother? Why don't we all apply to the same university? We're all good friends. We can take care of each other. Tang Yun's heart ached a little. As expected, Meng Yao did have feelings for Lin Yi, but Tang Yun wasn't the type of person who liked to use underhanded methods to deal with her rival. She wanted to do it openly, and so she took the initiative to invite Meng Yao. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have many friends. Other than Shu, it's you and Lin. Meng Yao nodded. What do you guys think Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao are doing right now? Yushu asked suddenly. How would we know? The Miss frowned. Meng Yao didn't feel comfortable with Lin Yi doing that kind of thing with another girl. Xiao Xiao was dying, but she still felt conflicted. Of course, it was just conflicted. Logically, she supported Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi being together. Oh, then do you guys need Shu to help you scout around and see what they're doing? Yushu suggested as she looked outside the tent. You can go if you want to, we didn't send you. Meng Yao wanted to know what Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi were doing after Yushu said that, but she didn't want to say it out loud. I don't know. I'm not participating. Tang Yun shook her head. Oh, then I'll be right back. Yushu couldn't wait any longer. With her personality, she wouldn't be Yushu if she didn't sneak a peek. Meng Yao and Tang Yun looked at each other. Tang Yun was the one who cared about Lin Yi the most, but since she already knew what they were going to do, and she accepted it in her heart, it didn't matter whether she went or not. Meng Yao, on the other hand, couldn't join in the fun with Yushu. Wouldn't that show that she cared about Lin Yi? I don't care about him at all. Yushu tiptoed out of the tent, sneaking towards Lin Yi's tent. Tai Zhao put on a black raincoat and rubber gloves as he walked in the direction of Meng Yao's tent, his heart pounding. Zhang Wen was already prepared, ready to fly to Meng Yao's rescue the moment she screamed. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi and Feng Xiao Xiao must be doing something indecent, and if Meng Yao were to call for help now, he wouldn't have the time to be distracted, and the responsibility of saving the damsel in distress would fall onto his shoulders. Tai Zhao was very scared. He was pretending to be a ghost, but he was more afraid of running into a ghost. He was just a fake ghost, and he knew that it would be bad if he ran into a real ghost in this dark place. Spirits of the heavens, spirits of the earth, please don't let me run into a ghost. Tai Zhao chanted as he walked forward. Yushu saw a black shadow sneaking out of Jiang Wen's tent the moment she came out. She didn't know what it was trying to do. And so, Yushu wasn't in a rush to go check on Lin, Yi, and Xiao Xiao. She laid down on the beach and pretended to be a beach, wanting to see what the shadow was up to. Tai Zhao was very scared, and he didn't dare look around. Yushu's disguise skills were very good, too, and he wouldn't be able to see her if he wasn't paying attention. Is this Jiang Wen or Su Tai Zhao? What's he doing? Why is he wearing a raincoat? It's not raining, is he? Is he going to dive? Yushu mumbled to herself as she stared at Tai Zhao. Tai Zhao took one careful step at a time, glancing back from time to time, afraid that something was following him. This Gang Lu, what the hell is he up to? He's not coming, and now I'm pretending to be a ghost. Man, this is scary. Tai Zhao gritted his teeth, wanting to finish his mission as soon as possible. She saw that Tai Zhao wasn't far from her, and he was walking towards her tent. Yushu decided to interrogate this guy first. And so, she got up from the beach and ran behind Tai Zhao, patting him on the shoulder. Wah, what the hell is this? Tai Zhao's body tensed up. He'd been looking back 3 times with every step he took, and there was no one behind him at all. What could it be? It's you, right? Bro, don't scare me like that. It must be you, Tai Zhao said weakly. Bro, I'm a coward. Please don't scare me like that. How am I supposed to scare Meng Yao if you scare me like that? Yushu was sure that this was Tai Zhao now, but she didn't expect him to be this cowardly. And for what Tai Zhao was saying, this guy was going to scare Yao Yao. No wonder he was wearing a raincoat with a hood on his head and rubber gloves on his hands. He was going to pretend to be a ghost. Weren't you pretending to be a ghost? Fine, I'll pretend to be a ghost to scare you. Yushu didn't say anything, only reaching out to pat Tai Zhao's shoulder again before sticking her tongue out. Bro, what are you doing? Why aren't you saying anything? Tai Zhao turned around carefully, but his hair stood on end when he saw who it was. A ghost in white, with a pale face, was standing behind him with her tongue out. Yushu had a white mask on her face, and she was wearing a white nightgown with her tongue sticking out. Wasn't this exactly the same as the female ghosts in the legends? Especially under the moonlight. He couldn't see clearly at all. Tai Zhao was worried that he'd run into something unclean along the way, and now that he saw Yushu like this, he couldn't help but piss his pants. Ghost! There's a ghost! Tai Zhao screamed and started running. Chapter 1151. Ghosts are everywhere. Meng Yao and Tang Yun saw that Yushu had been gone for a long time, and there was still no news. They were worried and worried. Although there shouldn't be any danger on the beach, what if there was an accident in the middle of the night? Although Miss Yushu scolded Shu sometimes, she still cared about her. Yin Yin, why isn't Shu back yet? Meng Yao asked worriedly. Yeah, don't let anything happen to him. Tang Yin was also a little worried. Although she treated Meng Yao and Yushu as love rivals, they were also good friends. That was a completely different matter. If he wanted something bad to happen to them, he wouldn't have called Lin Yi to save Meng Yao. I'll go take a look, Meng Yao said after some hesitation. I'll go with you. Tang Yin also sat up. It's fine, I'll go alone. What if Shu and I get lost and she comes back first? She'll worry about us if she sees no one in the tent. Meng Yao waved her hand. That's right. I'll wait here then. You be careful. Tang Yin felt that Meng Yao's words made sense and nodded. Meng Yao pushed the tent open and walked out. She'd only taken a few steps when she saw a black figure running towards her. As he ran, he shouted, Ghost, there's a ghost. I'm so scared. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was shocked. Meng Yao cried out subconsciously as well. Tai Zhao didn't even dare to look back as he ran as fast as he could. How unlucky was he? He went out to pretend to be a ghost, only to run into a real one. This was bad. Was his behavior suspected of vilifying and disguising himself as a ghost? Was he discovered by the ghost, so he vented his anger on him? Tai Zhao was panting heavily as he ran, afraid that the ghost would eat him. But as he ran, he didn't run far before he heard a horrifying scream coming from not far in front of him. Tai Zhao raised his head subconsciously to see that the white-faced, white-robed ghost who'd been behind him a moment ago was right in front of him, blocking his way. Oh my God! Tai Zhao was scared out of his wits. How could this ghost move so fast? Before he could even see what was going on, she had already teleported in front of him. But then again, it was normal for a ghost to be able to drift. Of course, it was faster than him. Evidently, Tai Zhao thought that Meng Yao was the same Yushu from before. But under the moonlight, it was hard to tell who was who in the white pajamas and the white face mask. Yushu wasn't as tall as Meng Yao, but Tai Zhao didn't have time to notice these details. He assumed that Meng Yao was the ghost from before, and his heart was filled with fear. He panicked and didn't know where he was going. There was a tent not far from him. It was Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun's tent. Tai Zhao was energized, his body brimming with energy. He couldn't care less about scaring Meng Yao anymore. The only thing on his mind right now was to run into Meng Yao's tent as soon as possible. He was a man, and he didn't care about being laughed at anymore. He'd rather hide behind the three girls. Meng Yao was stunned by Tai Zhao's actions as well. However, she was also quite scared. A dark person suddenly appeared in the middle of the night. She didn't know what he was up to. Anyone would be scared. But Meng Yao could tell from a voice that this person was Tai Zhao. Meng Yao wasn't scared anymore. What was there to be scared of? But the words he was saying were a little weird. Ghost. Was there a ghost? Tai Zhao was calling for a ghost, something like that. Meng Yao subconsciously looked behind Tai Zhao, which was in front of her. Where was the ghost? Only little Shu was happily waving at him from afar. Yushu was laughing as she ran towards Meng Yao. She was laughing so hard that she couldn't even walk properly. Shu, what kind of trick are you playing? What's going on with Tai Zhao? Meng Yao didn't know why Tai Zhao was running around like a madman, but her instincts told her that it had to be Shu's doing. Especially from Shu's expression, it was obvious that she was the one who did it. Why else was she laughing? Hee hee. Yao Yao, do I look like a ghost to you? With that, Yushu stuck out her tongue. Oh, I'm a ghost. Meng Yao couldn't help but start laughing as well. She finally understood why Tai Zhao was running away. It was because Yushu scared him. She couldn't help but say, I was wondering why he was even more afraid after seeing me. It turns out that he also thought I was a female ghost. Haha, yeah, Yao Yao, we're really good sisters. You're so cooperative. Yushu nodded with a smile. Tai Zhao probably thought that I could teleport, so I floated right in front of him. Where's Tai Zhao? Ah, I think he ran into our tent. Meng Yao was startled and quickly said, he won't scare Yin. Will he? Oh, he ran into the tent? Then we'll have a good show. I wonder if Tang Yin sis can cooperate? Yushu's eyes lit up. Cooperate? Meng Yao blinked. Yeah, we can check it out right now. Let's see if Tang Yin sis can be sisters with us in the future and play together. Yushu nodded with a serious face. Meng Yao could sense something in Yushu's words. Shu was referring to sisters, but there was another layer of meaning behind it. Meng Yao coughed. Shu, don't talk nonsense. Let's go check it out. Don't scare Tang Yin. Tai Zhao finally ran into Meng Yao's tent, thinking that he was finally home, safe. Then he heaved a sigh of relief and cried, well, I'm home. Tai Zhao's sudden visit gave Tang Yin a big fright. If Tai Zhao hadn't said anything, Tang Yin wouldn't have known that he was Tai Zhao. The light in the tent was dimmer than outside, and Tang Yin didn't understand why Tai Zhao would suddenly come to her tent. But where were Meng Yao and Yushu? Tang Yin stared at Tai Zhao, confused. Tai Zhao took a deep breath and raised his head, about to say something when he saw Tang Yin standing not too far from him. He froze on the spot. Chapter 1152. Chapter 1150. Unintentional coordination. Could it be that this was the legendary ghost hitting the wall? This tent was made up by the ghost, and it wasn't Meng Yao's tent at all. He had been under the ghost's control the whole time, and he never escaped. Tai Zhao paled at the thought, turning around and stumbling out of the tent in fear. He yelled as he ran towards Jiang Wen's tent. He was really scared out of his wits. Poor Tai Zhao. He had a problem with wetting his bed, and now he was pissing his pants again. Ghost! There's a ghost. Tai Zhao waved his hands as he ran. Ha ha ha! Yushu couldn't help but laugh as she watched Tai Zhao run out of the tent. Looks like Yin sis is quite cooperative. Tai Zhao's probably scared to death, right? Yao Yao, you and Tang and Sis are really cooperative. Ming Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Xiao Xiao had always been the one messing with Yushu, but this time she and Tang Yun had unintentionally coordinated with Shu and messed with Tai Zhao. All right, let's go check on Tang Yun. Ming Yao shook her head helplessly as she walked towards the tent. But at this time, Tang Yun was confused by Tai Zhao's actions as well. Tai Zhao ran out of the tent, and she followed him out. Tai Zhao didn't see them, but he saw Yao Yao and Shu walking back. Yao Yao, Shu, you're back. Tang Yun let out a breath of relief. I think Tai Zhao came just now. Did you guys see him? Why is he acting all weird? Did he see a ghost? Tang Yun's confusion made Yushu laugh out loud. Ha. Tang Yun, sis, don't we look like ghosts? Yushu asked with a smile. Tang Yun paused before looking at Meng Yao and Yushu's attire, then back at herself. Shu, you're saying that Tai Zhao wouldn't think that we're ghosts, would he? Yeah, that seems to be the case. Yushu nodded. Oh my god. Tang Yun slapped her forehead. Why is he so dumb? I don't know. But thank you for cooperating with me. Yushu said. Tang Yun couldn't help but feel a bit helpless. She wasn't the type of girl who liked to mess around. Unlike Yushu, who messed with people all day long. It wasn't her hobby either, but today, she unknowingly helped Yushu. However, Tang Yun didn't think that it was inappropriate. After all, it was a good thing to deepen their relationship. Tang Yun used to be very cautious, so she didn't have many friends. She only had Lu Xinwen and Xiaofan. This was similar to Miss. As a result, Tang Yun was getting along well with Chun Mengyan and Yushu. She hoped that they could continue being friends. It was a rare relationship, and as they grew older and entered society, it would be hard for them to have such a pure friendship without benefits. At this moment, Jiang Wen couldn't sit still anymore and ran out of his tent. He was waiting for Tai Zhao to act like a ghost and scare Meng Yao, so that he could go save the damsel in distress. His plan was very clever. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao were messing around. How would he have time to care about Meng Yao and the others? This was the time for him to be a man. He'd spend a night with Meng Yao, and even if nothing happened, their relationship would improve. But Tai Zhao suddenly started yelling something like a ghost the moment he got out. Jiang Wen was quite troubled. Who would pretend to be a ghost like that? Why would a ghost yell something like that? Who would be afraid of you when you're like that? And so, Jiang Wen got angrier the more he thought about it. He turned around and ran towards Meng Yao's tent. He couldn't stop complaining in his heart. This Tai Zhao really couldn't do anything right. Why was he pretending to be a ghost? It was all gone now. But he didn't get far before he saw Tai Zhao charging at him with extreme speed, pouncing on him before he could react. And bro, you scared me. There's a ghost. There's a ghost that can teleport. Tai Zhao didn't want to let go of Jiang Wen, as if he had found his savior. He didn't want to let go at all. What are you doing? You're hugging me to death. Jiang Wen raged, wanted to push Tai Zhao off of him. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun heard the commotion and rushed over as well, wanting to see what was going on. On the other side, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao were alerted by the commotion as well. The two came out of their tents and ran over. And bro, you scared me. There's a ghost here. Let's go. Tai Zhao cried. Ghost? Where's the ghost? Didn't I tell you to go pretend to be a ghost? Why aren't you pretending to be a ghost? What are you doing here? Jiang Wen roared furiously. I wanted to go pretend to be a ghost, but maybe my actions angered a real ghost, and I met a real one on the way. This ghost was really scary. Her face was white, and she was wearing a white robe, and she just stuck her tongue out and whimpered. Tai Zhao said, that ghost knew how to teleport, and she was behind me at first, but when I ran a few steps forward, she was in front of me again. She's really strong. She knows how to teleport. I didn't even see what was going on, and she was in front of me all of a sudden. What the hell are you talking about? What ghost? Jiang Wen raged at Tai Zhao's nonsensical words. There really is. And bro, you don't know this, but I was thinking that this ghost was too strong, so I decided to hide in Ming Yao's tent. Even if people laughed at me, it didn't matter. So I ran to Ming Yao's tent, but guess what happened, bro? I ran into a ghost wall again. Tai Zhao said, panicking. There was a ghost in Ming Yao's tent, and she ran into the tent again. When I entered the tent, I clearly remembered that the female ghost was outside the tent. But when I entered the tent, The female ghost was actually inside. Do you think that all of this was an illusion of the female ghost? It's too scary. Chapter 1153. Yes or no Mingyao and Tang Yin couldn't help but laugh, but not as much as Yushu and Xiao Xiao. Ha ha! Su Taizao, you're such an idiot. Yushu pointed at Taizao with a smile. Whoa, ghosts are here. Scare the hell out of you. Jiang Wen didn't expect Meng Yao and the others to come as well. He looked at the clothes Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin were wearing, and he realized what was going on. Did this idiot really think that Meng Yao and the others were ghosts? Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin were all wearing white pajamas with masks on their faces. They really did look like ghosts. Jiang Wen recognized Yushu's voice. He would have jumped if he didn't. But jumping was one thing. He couldn't let himself be scared like this. At the thought, Jiang Wen was furious. His subordinates were too much of an embarrassment, treating Meng Yao and the others as ghosts. Open your eyes and look. We're the ghosts. This is Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin. We're the ghosts. We're the ghosts. Jiang Wen said angrily. Taizao paused and raised his head, shivering when he saw Meng Yao, Tang Yin, and Yushu. Why were there 3 ghosts? And bro, aren't they ghosts? They've turned into 3 ghosts. Taizao said, What 3 ghosts? I told you they're Meng Yao, Tang Yin, and Yushu. Jiang Wen explained with a frown. Taizao paused and took a closer look, and it was just as Jiang Wen said. They weren't ghosts, they were Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin. But they were wearing white pajamas with masks on their faces. It was easy to mistake them as ghosts. Whoa, I'm a ghost. Yushu stuck out her tongue and turned back into her old self. Phew! Taizao breathed out in relief and let go of Jiang Wen, patting his chest. So it's Lil Sis Yao Yao and Lil Sis Shu. Haha, I was just joking with you guys. What's the point of having a long night without sleep? Oh, I understand. Yushu smiled as she looked at Taizao, but that smile was filled with disdain. Taizao, what did you do to me? Wet? What does this smell? Fuck me. Why is she so flirtatious? Did you pee your pants? Jiang Wen yelped abruptly as he jumped up and down, shaking off the water on his body. Whoa, Taizao bro, you're still wet your bed at this age. Yushu said mockingly, remembering the scene when they played Truth or Dare. When did I wet the bed? This was just peeing his pants. Oh no, I didn't pee my pants. I didn't pee my pants. Taizao's face was red as he tried to explain himself. Ha ha ha. Yushu laughed without saying anything. All right, Shu, let's go get some rest. It's getting late. We still have to watch the sunrise tomorrow, right? Meng Yao smelled something weird as well and didn't want to stay here any longer. Ha, okay. Yushu made a face at Taizao. Oh, don't dream of me tonight, okay? I'll scare you to death and you'll wet your bed again. Taizao shuddered. That was right. He better not have nightmares or he'd wet his bed again. That'd be so embarrassing. He felt a little awkward. How is that possible? I've stopped peeing my bed a long time ago. Oh no, I've never wet my bed before. Let's go. Yushu didn't say anything else and turned around with Meng Yao and Tang Yun, getting ready to leave. Shu, why didn't you call me along when you were messing with him? Xiao Xiao was a little regretful that she didn't get to see Taizao's face. Just from his own narration, it was already very interesting, not to mention witnessing the entire process. How could I disturb you when you're flirting with Shield Bro? Yushu giggled as she looked at Xiao Xiao. How far are you guys now? Can you tell me? I can't just tell you like that. It's a personal secret. Xiao Xiao shook her head mysteriously. You're not still a virgin, are you? Yushu looked Xiao Xiao up and down as she said fiercely. How? How is that possible? Who said I was? I'm not anymore. Are you? What, are you jealous of me? Xiao Xiao tried to defend herself, thinking that she wasn't a virgin when she said she wasn't. What could she tell? Me? Why would I be jealous of you? I've been a virgin for a long time, even longer than you. Yushu said, I'm Shield Bro's first woman. Who doesn't know how to brag? Xiao Xiao humphed. You're definitely a virgin. How else would you be able to walk so smoothly? The TV says that after the first time, your legs will be stiff. Yushu shook her head. The TV says? You also know it was said on TV? So you don't have any experience at all? Weren't you a virgin a long time ago? You experienced it yourself. Why would you watch the TV? Xiao Xiao retorted. I fell asleep after doing it, and I recovered the next day. It's different from yours. Yushu rolled her eyes. Meng Yao and Tang Yin shook their heads, bitter smiles on their faces. These two really were arguing over everything. This wasn't something to be proud of, and they were getting serious. That's enough. Both of you. Xiao Xiao, go back to sleep. We're not going to watch the sunrise tomorrow. Lin Yi smiled bitterly as well, wanting to prove his innocence. How could they be so shameless? He didn't even do anything, so why weren't they? Both Xiao Xiao and Yushu blushed at the same time. They laughed dryly at each other before Xiao Xiao said, I won't be in a bit. I won't be one sooner or later. Yushu said. Lin Yi didn't know what to say, and quickly left with Xiao Xiao. The miss pulled Shu and Tang Yun back to rest as well, leaving Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao alone. Why is this Lin Yi so popular? Why do two girls like him? Tai Zhao said, a little envious. Two? Would you take them if I gave them to you? You're scared out of your wits with just a face mask. Wouldn't you be scared to death if he married you? Jiang Wen huffed. This Feng Xiao Xiao is probably the same as Yushu. Be careful next time. Don't fall for her tricks. Chapter 1154. Chapter 1152, Deep Imprint. You're right. We can't let our guard down. Tai Zhao nodded. Thank goodness this Xiao Xiao wasn't part of it, or I'd be in trouble. All right, stop wasting time. Go take a shower. Jiang Wen waved his hand, a little pissed off. I'm so dirty from head to toe. How old are you? Still peeing your pants? Ugh, don't mention it. And bro, I'm embarrassed. Tai Zhao blushed. If you're embarrassed, then go take a shower. What are you waiting for? Jiang Wen said as he walked towards the beach. It's not waiting for anything, and bro, it's too dark. I don't dare go. Tai Zhao said, a little hesitant. You don't dare to go even if I go with you? What are you afraid of? Jiang Wen raged. I'm afraid of ghosts. I'm still scared of that scene, just now. Tai Zhao said weakly. What ghosts? Didn't I tell you already? There were no ghosts? Where were the ghosts? That was Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Tang Yun. Are you stupid? Jiang Wen said. It's fine if you don't want to take a shower, but don't sleep in the tent tonight. Stay outside. Then, I'll take a shower. Tai Zhao thought about it. Wouldn't it be scarier to stay outside the tent at night? You might as well go take a shower right now. The night passed without a word. The next morning, Lin Yi opened his eyes. He'd been training in his dreams every day, but Lin Yi could control the time difference very well now. Lin Yi was still connected to the outside world in his dreams. Many people couldn't control what happened in their dreams, but Lin Yi could. In his dreams, in the Jade Space, Lin Yi was pretty much the same as in reality. Xiao Xiao, wake up. We're going to watch the sunrise, Lin Yi said softly as he patted the sleeping Xiao Xiao in his arms. Last night, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao slept separately. Perhaps it was because she was being reserved, but Xiao Xiao didn't do anything bold when she came back. She might have been bold when she talked to Yushu last night, but she was a little shy when she came back. Xiao Xiao was an inexperienced girl, after all. Words were words, but actions were actions. In the latter half of the night, when it was cold, Xiao Xiao naturally squeezed into Lin Yi's arms. Lin Yi didn't push her away, hugging her until now. Oh, Xiao Xiao was sleeping soundly when Lin Yi woke her up. She opened her eyes, still a little groggy. It's time? Are you going to make breakfast with love? Xiao Xiao stood up from Lin Yi's arms and paced around the tent, mumbling, Where's the oven? Why is it gone? Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao, feeling a wave of warmth in his heart. Xiao Xiao had been making breakfast with love for him every morning, evidently getting used to it. The moment the alarm went off, she'd wake up and open the oven. It wasn't easy for her to come out and relax, but she still treated this as her home. Xiao Xiao, we're at the beach. Lin Yi got up and hugged Xiao Xiao. This was the first time Lin Yi hugged Xiao Xiao of his own volition, and this girl's figure was deeply imprinted in his heart. Xiao Xiao rubbed her sleepy eyes, feeling a little embarrassed. I thought I was at home. I was so sleepy. Don't make breakfast with love anymore. Rest well. I feel bad for you. Lin Yi said word by word as he looked at Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi's love surprised Xiao Xiao, but she wasn't used to it. As far as she was concerned, Lin Yi's feelings for her might be real, but he was only with her because of the bet with Tang Yun. But now, Xiao Xiao could see the deep love in Lin Yi's eyes. Lin Yi really did love her. Xiao Xiao felt lost all of a sudden. Xiao Xiao's original intention was to make Lin Yi fall in love with her, and then she'd dump Lin Yi. This was revenge. Although she'd buried this thought in her heart and didn't bring it up again, her illness was real. Whether it was revenge or not, Lin Yi would be sad the moment she left, and that wasn't something she wanted to see. Why are you so nice to me? Xiao Xiao was a little scared. This time, she was blaming herself. She felt like she was playing with fire, but she couldn't stop. How could you just stop playing around with feelings? You're nice to me, so I'll be nice to you too. Love is mutual. Lin Yi smiled. Didn't you want to watch the sunrise? It'll be out any later. Oh, Xiao Xiao replied, wondering if she should tell Lin Yi the truth. But she was a little scared. She was scared that if she told Lin Yi the truth, Lin Yi would get angry and leave her. Xiao Xiao didn't want to let go of this hard-earned love either. She was conflicted. You hugged me to sleep last night? Xiao Xiao changed the topic. These headaches were getting worse the more she thought about them, so she might as well not think about them at all. Yeah. Lin Yi nodded. You? Xiao Xiao bit her lips, her face a little red. Do you want me? Actually, we could do it now. I've thought about it, huh? Lin Yi blinked. I want to be your woman. Xiao Xiao didn't hesitate this time. She said it with determination. She thought that giving herself to Lin Yi would be a form of compensation to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was the one who took advantage of her. She was going to die soon, but she was still a virgin. When Xiao Xiao hung out with those delinquents, weren't they always talking about it and being proud of it? They'd compare how many virgins they'd slept with, how many women they'd had, and so on. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat, but he kept his composure. We'll talk about this when we get back. Let's go watch the sunrise first. We might not be able to see it if we waste any more time. Yep. Xiao Xiao nodded, blushing. She wasn't happy with Lin Yi's rejection. Lin Yi was a good guy, but he was a little too serious sometimes. In fact, Xiao Xiao didn't know that Lin Yi was tempted by her suggestion. But Lin Yi wasn't that heartless. Xiao Xiao's life was in danger, and Lin Yi didn't have time to think about stuff like that. Chapter 1155. Chapter 1153. Omnipotent Shu Lin Yi walked out of the tent with Xiao Xiao, and a moist sea breeze blew into their noses. It was a refreshing feeling. Lin Yi looked at Ming Yao's tent. It seemed to be quiet, so Lin Yi didn't go disturb them. He and Xiao Xiao went to the beach and sat on the sand. It's so dark. Xiao Xiao squeezed into Lin Yi's embrace. It's the darkest time before dawn. Lin Yi smiled and hugged Xiao Xiao tightly. Are you cold? It's okay, a little cold, but I'm not cold anymore after you hug me. Xiao Xiao smiled sweetly. Lin Yi, honey, look, there are stars in the sky. Yeah. Lin Yi nodded, his thoughts going back to the border of a small country in Europe. He remembered that night with Yuning. That day, it was also early in the morning, and the two of them sat at the edge of the cave, looking at the stars in the sky. Wasn't it similar to today? It was just a blink of an eye, and everything had changed. The stars were still the same, but the person beside him was Xiao Xiao. At that time, Lin Yi was confused about his future. He didn't know where he would go, and he didn't know when his days of wandering would end. He didn't dare to talk about love, and his attitude towards love was to avoid it. He couldn't give Yuning any promises, and he couldn't give her the life she wanted. She was a flower that grew up in a greenhouse, and he and she were people from two different worlds. So Lin Yi chose to avoid it. See Chapter T001, T010, Valentine's Day Special Chapter, Little Ning Chapter. Although in the next few missions, he found out that Yuning wasn't as weak as he thought, but Lin Yi still didn't dare cross the line. He remembered his identity. He didn't want Yuning to worry about him. She should have a stable and happy life, right? But although this love was buried in his heart, the relationship between Lin Yi and Yuning became more and more ambiguous. Until that time, when House Yu intervened, Lin Yi frowned, not wanting to think about it anymore. Let bygones be bygones. At the very least, Lin Yi was satisfied and happy right now. This mission allowed Lin Yi to truly integrate into the city, becoming a normal person. It gave Lin Yi real feelings. The reason why Lin Yi was able to open his heart was because of his old man's words. He promised that this would be the last mission of his life. He'd be able to retire after finishing it and settle down in Songsan. This allowed Lin Yi to open his heart and accept Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao without any worries. Wow, so romantic. Lin Yi's thoughts were pulled back to reality by a scream behind him. Lin Yi didn't need to look to know that it was Shu. Only she had this kind of personality. You're all awake? Lin Yi turned around. As expected, the Miss Shu and Tang Yun were all here. Why are you two so romantic? Cuddling with each other in the middle of the night? I'm jealous. Yushu giggled as she looked at Xiao Xiao. Why don't we switch? Change what? Xiao Xiao blushed a little. Don't Lin Yi's honey have a seat? You go to the left. Hee, then I won't hold back. Shield bro, you can have a girl on your left and right. Yushu smiled, wanting to sit down. But Meng Yao pulled her back. Stop messing around. Let's make breakfast to welcome the sunrise. Oh, okay. Yushu remembered that she had a mission this morning. She had to cook a poached egg for Xiao Xiao, and so she went to the car with Meng Yao and Tang Yun. I feel so happy. Xiao Xiao rested her head on Lin Yi's shoulder, enjoying this moment of peace. If you like it, we can come to the beach to watch the sunrise more often. Every year, Lin Yi said. Okay. Xiao Xiao felt a lump in her throat, a little sad. Every year. Perhaps this was the last time she'd be able to watch the sunrise at the beach. Lin Yi could more or less guess what Xiao Xiao was thinking. He was even more determined to find a way to cure Xiao Xiao. The stars in the sky slowly dimmed, and the white of dawn appeared above the sea. It's getting bright, Lin Yi said. It's a new day. Yeah, I've lived another day. Xiao Xiao sighed. At this time, the Miss Shu and Tang Yun had already prepared the cooking tools. Shield bro, everything's ready. Let's start. Yushu ran over. They could do the preparation work, but the rest was up to Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao, wait for me. I'll go make breakfast. Lin Yi said. Can you not go? I don't want you to leave. Xiao Xiao said, a little reliant. Don't worry. I'll make breakfast before sunrise for sure. Lin Yi said with a smile. Okay, I'll wait for you. Xiao Xiao nodded. Lin Yi stood up and walked to the campfire with Yushu, lighting it up quickly. He looked at the eggs on the ground, troubled. They'd barbecued yesterday, and they only needed to put the food on the grill. How were they supposed to cook this poached egg without a pan or a plate? If only I had a pan. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I do, Yushu said as she handed him a frying pan. Ah, you brought a pan? Lin Yi paused. Do you have a spatula? I do. It's not a problem for all-purpose Shu. Yushu gave a spatula to Lin Yi. Ugh, all-purpose Shu. She really is all-purpose. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He didn't know if he should praise Yushu or scold her. Lin Yi felt that the car was very heavy when he was driving, and if Yushu had even brought a pan and a spatula, then there had to be more things in the trunk. But Lin Yi didn't have time to think about this. The most important thing now was to fry the eggs. Lin Yi quickly fried a few poached eggs and gave some to Tang Yun, the Miss, and Shu, leaving 2 for Xiao Xiao. Here, eat. Xiao Xiao froze when she smelled the aroma of the poached eggs. How did you know I wanted to eat poached eggs while watching the sunrise? Xiao Xiao asked, surprised. I don't know, I just did it randomly. Lin Yi, naturally, couldn't admit that he'd looked at Xiao Xiao's phone. Isn't this usually what you eat for breakfast? Chapter 1156. Chapter 1154. Jiang Wen's tragic past. But why do you want to eat a poached egg while watching the sunrise? Lin Yi didn't understand why Xiao Xiao would want to do that. Because when the sun rises, it's like a big fried egg. I can imagine myself eating it in one bite. Xiao Xiao said. I see. Lin Yi sweated. This Xiao Xiao was quite a creative thinker, connecting all these things together. It was quite special. At that moment, a red glow appeared between the sky and the sea, shining brightly. The sun was about to rise. Whoa, Yushu cheered as well. Evidently, they were watching the sunrise as well. It's coming. Xiao Xiao pointed at the sky excitedly as well. As expected, a fiery red sun slowly rose from the sea, jumping into the air bit by bit. The sea was shining with a golden red light, very beautiful. Xiao Xiao ate her egg as she watched the sunrise happily in Lin Yi's arms. It was a beautiful morning. The sun was rising, and the sea was no longer cold. The temperature of the sea was rising. The five of them finished their breakfast. Their original plan was to change into swimsuits and swim in the sea. But the sea water was still a little cold, so the five of them sat on the beach and waited for the sun to completely heat up the water before going to swim in the sea. Zhang Wen and Tai Zhao only woke up when the sun was completely out. They walked out of the tent and saw the five sitting on the beach. Zhang Wen didn't hesitate at all as he walked over. Yao Yao sis, you're up early. You guys must be hungry, right? I have some nutritious breakfast here. It's almost hot. I'll get Tai Zhao to bring some over. Let's eat together. No need, we're done already. Meng Yao said faintly. You guys eat. Done. Zhang Wen blinked, but looked at the cooking utensils not too far away. They seemed to have been used today. He shrugged helplessly. If that's the case, then we'll just have a simple bite. The weather's nice today. Why don't we go play in the water? Yao Yao, Shu, do you guys remember when we used to come to the beach together when we were kids? Of course I remember. Yushu spoke up before Meng Yao could. Did you get bitten by a crab? Why are you crying? That's right. Your D*CK is broken. Sister Yao Yao can't marry you in the future. Otherwise, she won't have any sexual bliss. Quack! Zhang Wen blinked at Yushu's words, but he remembered that when he was playing at the beach when he was young, his dick was caught by a crab's pincer, and he almost broke it. Plus, the culprit was most likely Yushu. She was the one who released the crabs. Zhang Wen didn't have any proof, but he was pretty sure of it. From then on, Zhang Wen started to fear Yushu. This girl was too vicious, and he had to stay as far away from her as possible. He might even get castrated by her. At the thought, Zhang Wen couldn't help but admire Lin Yi a little. He had such a good relationship with Yushu. Was he not afraid of anything? Ha ha. Xiao Xiao started laughing after hearing Yushu's words. Who would have thought that Zhang Wen had such a tragic past? Meng Yao and Tang Yun, on the other hand, were too embarrassed to laugh out loud, but they couldn't help but laugh. This Zhang Wen sure was unlucky. That's all in the past. Let's not talk about it. Zhang Wen laughed. Let's not talk about this. Shall we go swimming later? Right, I even prepared swimsuits for you guys. Tai Zhao, go get the swimsuits for Yao Yao sis and the others. Okay, I'll go get them now. Tai Zhao happily went to get the swimsuits. Very quickly, Tai Zhao came back with a bunch of swimsuits in his hands. Yao Yao, Shu, Tang Yun, Xiao Xiao. See if you guys like them? Zhang Wen passed the swimsuits to Meng Yao. Meng Yao didn't take it, but Yushu curiously took it and flipped through it. These are the latest international models. I had someone buy them from overseas. It took a lot of effort. Zhang Wen said proudly. What the hell is this? Meng Yao's face reddened at the sight of it. How is this a normal swimsuit? It was a sexy swimsuit, wasn't it? Her breasts were exposed, and even her thighs were exposed. Meng Yao wouldn't wear something like this in public. Her swimsuits were very conservative, covering her entire body, and this was a world of difference. Ugh. Zhang Wen didn't expect Meng Yao to react this strongly. Of course, he had to admit that he was being selfish. These swimsuits were all international brands, but he tried his best to choose the sexiest ones. His goal was to let Meng Yao wear them, and it'd be a feast for his eyes. As for Yushu, Zhang Wen didn't dare do anything to her, but she had a good figure, and her breasts were huge. Zhang Wen purposely chose a swimsuit that accentuated Yushu's figure. These are the latest international models. How can it be messed up? Zhang Wen said quickly. These are all designed by famous designers. It might be a little bold, but it's very pretty. You guys are in the prime of your youth. You should show off your beauty. Show it to you. Meng Yao frowned. Ugh. Zhang Wen was a little embarrassed by Meng Yao's question. Evidently, Meng Yao was really pissed, or she wouldn't ask something like this. I'm not wearing it. You can wear it if you want. Meng Yao said. Zhang Wen felt a little awkward. It's fine if you don't want to wear it. I'm just being nice. Tai Zhao, take it back. Jiang Wen felt that it was a pity, but there was nothing he could do. What could he do if Meng Yao didn't want to wear it? He didn't doubt that Lin Yi would kick him into the Pacific Ocean if he dared to do that. Who was Lin Yi? Even House Yu would beat him up, let alone Jiang Wen. If Fighter Li hadn't died, Jiang Wen wouldn't be that afraid of Lin Yi. But now that Fighter Li was killed by some air gooden and his new support hadn't arrived yet, he didn't dare fight Lin Yi head-on. Don't take them away. I want these swimsuits. Yushu stopped him. Chapter 1157. Chapter 1155. Shark meat again. I'll bring it home and wear it for shield bro. Yushu's words poured a bucket of cold water over Jiang Wen's head. What? Jiang Wen paused, and his face changed. Show it to Lin Yi. Why did this girl like Lin Yi so much? Jiang Wen was envious, but at the same time, he thought that Lin Yi would be pranked by Yushu every day, and that she'd release crabs and lobsters to kill him. Give me half, I want it too. Xiao Xiao didn't back down. Sure, I can't do it myself anyway. Yushu didn't reject. Jiang Wen was a little dejected. He spent a lot of money on the swimsuit, and Lin Yi got it for free. He couldn't even see what he bought. How unlucky. But this amount of money wasn't much to Jiang Wen anymore. He waved his hand. All right, I'll give it all to you. Let's go play in the sea today. We'll get some seafood too. It's daylight now. What do you guys want to eat? I'll get it for you. Jiang Wen looked at the crabs and other things crawling up the beach, and he knew that he might be able to get some big fishes later. At least he wouldn't have to go fishing in the dark like last night. What do you want to eat? And what do you want to get? Yushu narrowed her eyes at Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen's heart skipped a beat at the look on Yushu's face. This girl wouldn't be playing tricks on him again, would she? It has to be in the sea, right? I won't be able to get it if it's not there. Jiang Wen laughed, pretending to be joking. Yao Yao, and I want to eat shark meat. You go get it. Yushu said. What? Shark? Jiang Wen jumped in fright upon hearing Yushu's words. How could shark be fished out so easily? Wouldn't they be bitten to death? Yeah, we want to eat barbecued shark meat. Yushu nodded. Don't you specialize in fighting sharks? You broke a shark's teeth with one punch. Were you bragging before? Quack. Jiang Wen suddenly remembered that the last time he treated Jiang Wen, he wanted to show off his bravery by saying that he fought with a shark before. But that was all bullshit. It was a lie. But now Yushu was bringing this up. Jiang Wen didn't know what to do. If he admitted to it, Yushu would definitely make him go catch the shark right now. But if he didn't admit to it, he'd be seen as a liar in front of Meng Yao, and he'd lose all his face. With that thought, Jiang Wen clenched his teeth. There might not be sharks in this shallow water area, so it wasn't his fault if he didn't meet one. Hence, he said, all right, shark meat it is. Tai Zhao and I will go into the sea to catch sharks for you in a while. However, if there are no sharks in this shallow water area, then we can't do anything. After all, we didn't bring diving equipment, so we can't go to the deep sea area. It doesn't matter. I have a trick to attract sharks. Yushu smiled as she looked at Jiang Wen. Cut your finger and drip your blood into the sea, and the sharks will be attracted to you. Quack! Jiang Wen jumped up. That's not good, is it? Why not? Are you a coward? Yao Yao doesn't like cowardly men. She likes brave men. Yushu looked at Jiang Wen and encouraged him. You need to be brave. You need to be like a warrior if you want to get Yao Yao's attention. You don't have to be nervous no matter how big the danger is. You should believe that Yao Yao is watching you from behind, cheering you on. Is that so? Jiang Wen was suddenly filled with courage and fighting spirit as he looked at Tai Zhao. Tai Zhao, change into your swimsuit. We're going to catch sharks. And bro, aren't we a little too weak to catch sharks with our bodies? Tai Zhao said carefully, a bitter face on his face. Cut the crap, let's go. Jiang Wen was afraid that Meng Yao would laugh at him, so he pulled Tai Zhao away to change into his swimsuit. Shoo, don't you think it's a little too dangerous? What if Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao get killed by sharks? Meng Yao didn't believe that Jiang Wen could kill sharks at all. She believed that Lin Yi could kill sharks, but Jiang Wen, it's fine, I'm here, right? Yushu said, I killed a shark with a rock last time. Huh, you're still bringing it up? Meng Yao couldn't help but laugh. You didn't kill a shark last time, did you? It was Gao Xiaofu. Yao Yao, you know about it too? Yushu blushed a little. She was smart enough to know that she didn't kill a shark, but Gao Xiaofu, who was pretending to be a shark. She thought that no one knew about this. The shark you killed had a supermarket price tag on it. Who wouldn't know? Meng Yao glared at Yushu before turning to Lin Yi, troubled. Lin Yi, watch out later. Don't let the shark kill Jiang Wen. Okay. Lin Yi nodded, not asking any more questions. Lin Yi knew what Meng Yao was thinking. Jiang Wen had always been a childhood playmate, and while he'd changed now, becoming a bad guy, Meng Yao still didn't want Jiang Wen to die in front of her because of their past relationship. Yao Yao, why do you care about him? It doesn't matter if he dies. Yushu didn't care. A while later, Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao changed into their swimsuits and got ready to go. Yao Yao, Shu, aren't you guys coming to play? Jiang Wen asked. Yao Yao, are we going? Yushu turned to Meng Yao. Meng Yao nodded and turned to Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. Let's go together? Sure. Tang Yun nodded. This was her first time going to the beach, and everything was so new. Songzhan was a city close to the mountains, and there weren't many rivers around. It took a long drive to get to the beach, and the only place close to the sea was the bungee jumping area in the amusement park, but it was a steep cliff, and below the cliff was the sea. It wasn't a good place to play. Tang Yun's family wasn't doing well, and her father was sick in bed, so she didn't have time to go to the beach. Meng Yao and Yushu bought a lot of swimsuits in the supermarket, but they were all conservative types. They brought some for Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. Chapter 1158. Lin Yi's loss of composure. I don't think that a good idea. You guys pick first. Tang Yun was a little embarrassed. Meng Yao and Yushu were the ones who bought the swimsuits. It was only right for them to pick first. These swimsuits are all the styles that Shu and I like. We won't buy the ones we don't like, so you guys pick the ones you like. Shu and I like the rest too, Meng Yao explained with a smile. Then we'll do as you say. Tang Yun didn't refuse and took a set they liked. However, it was a little awkward when they changed their swimsuits. Although they had already seen each other naked when they changed their pajamas last night, it was dark at that time and they couldn't see anything. They could only vaguely see a white patch, so it wasn't too awkward. But even without turning on the lights, the sun could still shine through the tent, filling the tent with light. It was just a little dark. The mist was a little shy, and so was Tang Yun. But Yushu didn't care. She took off her clothes quickly and got ready to put on her swimsuit. Wow, Shu, your breasts are so big, Xiao Xiao said as she stared at Yushu's breasts. She quickly ran over and grabbed them. Let me touch them. Ah, Yushu cried out as well, quickly dodging Xiao Xiao's attack. Stingy, you're playing threesomes. I won't even let you touch them. I'm not playing with you anymore. Xiao Xiao humphed. I'll let you touch them when we're playing, not now. Yushu quickly put on her swimsuit. Only Shield Bro can touch them now. With Xiao Xiao and Yushu's interference, the atmosphere in the tent wasn't as awkward anymore. Meng Yao and Tang Yun took off their clothes and got ready to change into their swimsuits. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was a little shy at the end. At least Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun had changed their pajamas together yesterday, and they'd slept on the same mattress, so they were quite familiar with each other. Only Xiao Xiao was doing it for the first time, so she was a little embarrassed. Xiao Xiao, why are you so slow? Is it because your breasts are too small that you feel inferior in front of me? Yushu giggled. Who said that? You're so big. I'm just right. Xiao Xiao quickly took off her clothes and changed into her swimsuit. It seems to be a little bigger than Yao Yao, sis. Yao Yao, sis. It looks like you have to work hard. Yushu said to herself. Shu, you're too much. Meng Yao's face was red from Yushu's actions, and she went to tear her lips. I'm going swimming, Yushu said as she ran out of the tent. Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lin Yi also went back to change into his swimming trunks. When he walked out of the tent, he saw Shu running out. Xiao Shu's chest was no longer restrained. Coupled with the fact that she was jogging, Lin Yi's breathing quickened. This scene was very similar to a popular chat picture emoticon on the internet. Wow, Shield Bro, you're so strong. Yushu didn't realize that she was inappropriate, but when she saw Lin Yi's muscular chest and abs, her eyes lit up. Ugh, you're very big too, Lin Yi said subconsciously, but after saying that, he felt that something wasn't right. Lin, he had always been a serious person in front of Meng Yao and Yushu, and he'd never say anything that went overboard. But this time, he let Yushu lead him into saying something he shouldn't have said. Oh, Yushu was surprised by Lin Yi's words as well, but she was happy. Although Lin, he loved her a lot in the past, he never praised her like this. So Yushu was very happy. Shield bro, you finally found Shu's good points? Lin, he was speechless. It seemed that humans weren't saints. He had been with Yao Yao and Shu for a long time. It was inevitable that he would have some thoughts about them. It was reasonable for him to have feelings for them. You and Yao Yao are both very good. Lin Yi's face returned to normal as he said faintly. Yushu was a little depressed that Lin Yi had gone back to his old self, but thinking about it, Lin Yi's attitude was very clear. It seemed that he still liked her. Shu, you have to do your best. Meng Yao, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao came out later, so naturally they didn't see the scene before. They were a little confused by Yushu's bright smile. Only Meng Yao wasn't happy. Shu, is my chest so small that it's worth it for you to be happy? You're dying of laughter. I think you should be called Chun Xiao Xiao. No, I'm not laughing at that. Yushu scratched her head, a little embarrassed. Then what are you laughing at? Meng Yao looked at Yushu, confused. Oh, nothing. I'm laughing at that idiot Jiang Wen going to catch a shark. Yushu said. Meng Yao didn't really believe Yushu's words, but she didn't say anything. Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao were swimming in the ocean when they saw Meng Yao and the others coming out. He waved his hands. Yao Yao, come quickly. It's really cool in the water. The sun was already out, and standing on the beach was quite hot. The water hadn't absorbed all the heat yet, so it was still a little cold. It was the most comfortable time to go into the water. Jiang Wen bro, why aren't you going to catch a shark? Yushu asked directly after entering the water. I was just thinking, why don't we play for a while? Otherwise, how are we supposed to play if the blood stays in the water? Jiang Wen laughed. We'll catch sharks after we're done playing. Is that so? That works too. Yushu thought about it. They weren't done playing yet, and it was indeed a little unpleasant to attract a shark. She was there to supervise them, so she wasn't worried that Jiang Wen wouldn't go. The chances of sharks and dangerous sea creatures appearing in shallow water were very low, but Lin, he was still very vigilant, watching the surface of the sea, ready to make a move at a moment's notice. Wow, there are abalones on the reef. Xiao Xiao pointed excitedly at a reef at the bottom of the sea and exclaimed, Really? There's abalones here? Yushu rolled her eyes and called out to Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen bro, there's abalones here. Come catch some abalones for lunch. Chapter 1159. Let me tell you a secret. It's right here. Hurry up and catch it. Yushu pointed at the reef in the water. That's too easy, watch me. Jiang Wen thought that this was a good chance to show off his bravery. He gathered his strength and said to the abalone, Little abalone, I'm coming. But Jiang Wen's thinking was too simple. The abalone was stuck to the reef like it was glued to it. Even a cow would struggle to pull it away. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, didn't know that he was treating the abalone like a clam, thinking that he could just pick it up. And so, Jiang Wen felt that something wasn't right. Why was the abalone so tight? It was as if it was growing on the reef. Tai Zhao, come help. Let's pull it together. Jiang Wen said to Tai Zhao. All right, let's pull it together. Tai Zhao was scared of ghosts and sharks, but this little abalone was nothing to him. He and Jiang Wen started pulling it with all their might. Jiang Wen bro, Tai Zhao bro, go. Yao Yao is watching you guys. Yushu cheered them on as she slipped away with Xiao Xiao, leaving the two idiots pulling the abalone with all their might. Yushu and Xiao Xiao ran over to Meng Yao and Tang Yun's side, laughing their heads off. What's wrong with you two? Meng Yao asked curiously. Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao are pulling the abalone with their hands. Yushu said, pulling the abalone with their hands? Meng Yao blinked. Can that thing be pulled out with their hands? Don't we have to use special tools to pull out? Didn't we watch an episode of Animal World before? It's about abalone, right? Yeah, those two idiots must have never watched it before. They think they can pull it out with their hands. Yushu said, Let them do it. We don't have to worry about them bothering us anymore. Yushu said. Mingyao shook her head. This Yushu was quite a bad person. Lin, he didn't go into the sea. He sat quietly on the beach, watching the people play in the water. He had to take care of their safety. Husband Linny, can you come down to the sea to play this time? You lied to me that you didn't know how to swim, but Shu said you saved him. Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi a little bitterly. She'd wanted Lin Yi to come play with her when Pin Liang organized the trip to the beach, but Lin Yi refused, saying that he didn't know how to swim. But as she got closer to Yushu, Xiao Xiao learned more about Lin Yi. I'm not going. You guys have fun first. Lin Yi shook his head, but Xiao Xiao, naturally, wouldn't let Lin Yi go so easily. With Xiao Xiao in the lead, the group started splashing water on Lin Yi. Yushu quickly joined in as well, and Tang Yun hesitated a little before joining in. The Miss was in a difficult position. With her personality, she would never mess around with Yushu. But now that Tang Yun had joined the battle, if the Miss didn't join in, it would seem that she was not a part of the group. And so, the Miss started splashing water on Lin Yi as well. Lin Yi didn't mind, smiling. It's a little hot sitting on the beach. It'll cool me down a little. I'll just take it as a shower. Sisters, how about we push Shield Bro into the sea? Yushu wasn't too happy about it. Sure. Xiao Xiao was the first to agree. Tang Yun, on the other hand, didn't hold back. It was her first time out, and she had to enjoy herself. She answered Yushu's call, running up to the shore and dragging Lin Yi into the water. Lin Yi wasn't expecting Tang Yun to get along with Yushu as well. He was a little surprised, but he gave her some face and went into the sea. On the other side, Jiang Wen and Tai Zhao were struggling with the abalone. Jiang Wen wanted to cry as he looked at the laughter. Why is this abalone so hard? Is it growing on the reef? Who knows, and bro? I've already used all my strength, but the abalone doesn't move at all. Tai Zhao smiled bitterly. Maybe there's something wrong with this abalone? That Yushu girl is always messing with people. Maybe we should change to another abalone? Jiang Wen thought about it and agreed. Yushu is always messing with people, and there might be something wrong with this abalone. He and Tai Zhao went to pull out the other abalones, only to realize that it was the same as before. It was stuck to the rocks, not moving at all. Could it be that there's something wrong with all the abalones? Jiang Wen frowned. That can't be right. These are all wild abalones. They don't look like they've been tampered with. Tai Zhao was confused as well. Forget it, don't pull them out. Yushu wants to eat abalone, right? We'll call Ganglu when we get ashore and get him to buy a few kilos of abalones. She said it herself yesterday. We don't have to go to the sea to eat seafood. Jiang Wen said. That's true. Tai Zhao and Jiang Wen went ashore together, giving up on the idea of pulling abalones. He went back to the tent and called Ganglu, asking him to buy a few kilos of abalones and some shark meat. Shoo! Jiang Wen seems to have given up on pulling abalones. Xiao Xiao said as she looked at the shore. How about we mess with him again? Yushu blinked as an idea formed in her mind. Sure. How? Xiao Xiao didn't even need to think about it before agreeing. You just have to do this. Yushu and Xiao Xiao started plotting. It didn't take long for the two to get ashore and walk towards Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen bro, come here. I'll tell you a secret. Yushu waved at Jiang Wen. Oh, what secret? Jiang Wen didn't dare delay. He knew that Yushu's secret might not be something good, but he still walked over. Come closer. Yushu gestured for Jiang Wen to crouch down. She wasn't as tall as Jiang Wen, so naturally, she couldn't reach his ear. What is it? Jiang Wen crouched down. Yushu put her mouth close to Jiang Wen's ear and suddenly screamed. Wah! Jiang Wen jumped up in fright from Yushu's sudden scream. His ears were ringing from the shockwave, and he was almost deafened by Yushu. Jiang Wen was a little pissed off. Wasn't Yushu a little too much? It was fine if she was messing around, but was she trying to scare him to death? Chapter 1160. Chapter 1158. Why didn't you tell me no, Jiang Wen bro? I really wanted to tell you a secret. Yushu said, feeling wronged. You really wanted to tell me a secret? What kind of secret do you want to tell me? Jiang Wen frowned. And bro, bad news. Something big happened. Tai Zhao ran over from not too far away. panting as he spoke. Wait a minute, what's going on? Wait for Lil Sis Shu to tell me the secret first. Jiang Wen waved his hand, gesturing for Tai Zhao to calm down. Jiang Wen, bro, I actually wanted to tell you. Xiao Xiao wants to put a crab in your pants. Yushu said. Then, tell me, why did you yell all of a sudden? Are you trying to deafen me? Jiang Wen looked at Yushu helplessly. No, I yelled because Xiao Xiao came just now, and she put crabs in your pants. I saw it, and jumped in fright. Yushu said embarrassedly. Gah! Jiang Wen jumped up again, holding his crotch with both hands as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. I pinch my balls, it hurts. Oh, Jiang Wen bro, I've told you the secret. I'll be going first, keep your balls hurting. Yushu waved at Jiang Wen and turned to leave. Jiang Wen held his crotch as he jumped up and down, not daring to take off his pants in front of everyone. He could only run into the tent. Once inside the tent, Jiang Wen quickly took off his swimming trunks, and a small crab happened to be clamping onto Jiang Wen's balls. Tai Zhao, come help me. I can't use my strength. Jiang Wen called out, troubled. Little crab, come down. It's not fun over there. Tai Zhao said with his head lowered. Are you a crab? Does it even understand what you're saying? Hurry up and help me take it down. Jiang Wen was very pissed off. Why was he talking to a crab at a time like this? Tai Zhao didn't dare say much as he carefully reached out to pull the crab, only to find that Jiang Wen was on the verge of tears. My balls, I pulled them, but it won't come down even if I don't. Tai Zhao didn't know what to do. He didn't know if he should continue or stop. Can't you be more careful? Should we break its claws first? Jiang Wen said. I'll try. Tai Zhao nodded carefully. As a result, a great drama of wailing and howling unfolded in the tent, and a real pain in the ass was born. Yushu and Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, went back to playing with Lin Yi, Ming Yao, and Tang Yun Xiao as if nothing had happened. What happened to Jiang Wen? I think he's injured? Ming Yao didn't know what was wrong with Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen's cries were so shrill that even Ming Yao could hear them from afar. His balls are hurting. Yushu said. Balls. Balls? Ming Yao's face reddened. Balls were a common phrase in the internet, but it was mostly used by men. Girls didn't have balls, after all, and it wasn't elegant to say that out loud. Ming Yao, especially, didn't know how to say that. Naturally, she felt a little embarrassed hearing Yushu say that. But Ming Yao was a little puzzled. Why was Jiang Wen having balls all of a sudden? His balls got clamped by a crab. Xiao Xiao explained. Ming Yao paused. She didn't know what it felt like to have his balls clamped by a crab, but it probably wasn't a good feeling. Why is he so unlucky? Why is he getting that? I put the crab there. Xiao Xiao said. Ming Yao's head ached. So was Xiao Xiao's doing? Looking at Yushu's face, it was probably the two's teamwork. Jiang Wen sure was unlucky, running into these two devils. Nothing bad will happen to him, right? Ming Yao asked worriedly. Nope, it's just a small crab. It'll get hurt at most, but it won't die. Yushu said. Jiang Wen finally managed to pull the crab off with all his might, but his balls were broken as well, and the pain made him jump up and down. Motherfucker, stupid crab. I'll stomp you to death. Jiang Wen stepped on the crab after he got it off. But because it was sand, the crab wasn't affected at all. Once he stepped on it, the crab shot out its claws and clamped onto Jiang Wen's toes again. Ouch! Jiang Wen cried out again. Half an hour later, Jiang Wen limped out of the tent, holding his balls. His balls and toes were all bandaged up, and he was in pain. He asked Tai Zhao as he walked, right, you said something big happened just now? That you had something big to report to me. What happened? Jiang Wen remembered that Tai Zhao wanted to talk to him about something, but Yushu had scared him out of his mind, so he didn't pay much attention to it. It's like this, and bro, I want to tell you that Xiao Xiao threw a crab in your pants, but there's no need now. Tai Zhao said bitterly. What? Jiang Wen almost jumped up from the ground. You're saying Xiao Xiao threw the crab? You saw it? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Jiang Wen remembered that the crab hadn't even bitten the eggs when Tai Zhao was yelling. Did that mean that this wouldn't have happened if he'd found out in time? Jiang Wen's face turned very ugly at the thought. But I wanted to tell you earlier, but you told me to wait until Lil Sis Shu told you the secret. Tai Zhao said weakly. Wah. Jiang Wen paused, but thinking about it, That was indeed the case. He was the one who asked Tai Zhao to wait for a bit. Jiang Wen could only blame it on his bad luck. Who could he blame for this? Jiang Wen looked at Yushu and Xiao Xiao with a hint of hatred in his eyes. But they were Ming Yao's friends, and he couldn't do anything about it. If he did, they'd just say it was a joke. What would he do? And so, Jiang Wen gritted his teeth and endured the pain, pretending to be fine as he walked towards the beach. Chapter 1161. Chapter 1159. You're a brave man, Jiang Wen bro. How are you? Where's that crab? Yushu's first sentence hit Jiang Wen's sore spot. Jiang Wen's face froze, but he didn't want Meng Yao to look down on him. He pretended to be calm and said nonchalantly, "It's just a little crab. What can it do to me?" Meng Yao didn't know what to say, but Jiang Wen didn't want Meng Yao to underestimate him. "Wow, Jiang Wen bro, you're so strong. Your balls are fine?" Yushu's eyes were filled with admiration. "Of course it's fine. I've trained before. I got caught by a crab once when I was young, and I've been training ever since I was free. As of now, a single crab is useless against me," Jiang Wen said proudly. "The same move is nothing to me." "Oh, Jiang Wen bro's a steel egg. Then the girl who marries you will definitely be blessed," Yushu said enviously. "Huh, you can't say that, but I'm sure she'll be blessed." Jiang Wen thought that Yushu was quite adorable at times like this, praising him in front of Meng Yao. It seemed like it was a good thing that he'd gotten his balls pinched between his legs. "Jiang Wen bro, you're a brave and strong man," Yushu said sincerely. "Of course, Yao Yao Lil Sis likes brave men. I'm developing in that direction." Jiang Wen nodded. "Oh, since you're fine, then go catch the shark. We're waiting to eat it," Yushu said. "Wah." Jiang Wen paused, realizing that he'd fallen into Yushu's trap. Yushu kept complimenting him on how brave and strong he was, and now she wanted him to go catch a shark? He couldn't say no to that either. Fighting with sharks is a very dangerous thing, and you guys are playing in the sea right now. Let's just forget about it. It's not good to cause a bloody mess. Jiang Wen had a plan in mind. "I've already told Gang Lu to buy some abalone and shark meat from the supermarket. They'll be here soon, so we don't need to catch them anymore." "Oh, that's not the same. The sharks in the supermarket are dead, frozen, and not fresh. Sister Yao Yao prefers to eat fresh sharks," Yushu said. "Plus, Yao Yao likes the process of a warrior fighting a shark, not the result. Eating the shark is secondary. You just want to enjoy the fruit of your victory. If it's a shark killed by someone else, Yao Yao won't eat it." "I see." Yushu's words made Jiang Wen's blood boil, but he wasn't an idiot. He knew what he was capable of. His body wasn't even enough to fill the gap between the shark's teeth, let alone fight it. But in order to not lose face in front of Meng Yao, Jiang Wen hesitated. "Naturally, I've been thinking about that too. It's been a while since I fought a shark, and I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable. You also know that a brave person like me will feel uncomfortable if I don't do something brave for a period of time. But sharks aren't easy to come by. This is shallow water. Sharks don't usually come here, so this thing can only depend on luck." Jiang Wen's words were very clear. He wanted to catch sharks, but there weren't any here, so it wasn't his fault, was it? Jiang Wen wasn't wrong. There weren't any sharks in shallow water, so there was no way to catch one, even if he wanted to. "Let's try it then. Cut your finger and attract the shark." Yushu nodded. There were indeed sharks around here. When he fell into the water with Lin Yi, and when Pin Liang organized the trip, they'd all met sharks. Yushu thought that Jiang Wen would be lucky to meet a shark this time. All right, Jiang Wen thought that this little bit of blood would be diluted very quickly, and the sharks wouldn't be able to get close. He turned to Tai Zhao. "Tai Zhao, cut your finger and attract the shark." "Ah, how come it's me?" Tai Zhao pointed at himself, a little troubled. "Me if not you?" Jiang Wen glared at him. "Hurry up. Don't delay me from fighting the shark." "All right." Tai Zhao gritted his teeth and went to cut his finger. But this time, Jiang Wen had miscalculated. He didn't know anything about sharks at all, or he wouldn't have said something stupid like breaking a shark's teeth with one punch. If you dropped a drop of blood in the ocean, the shark would be able to smell it from a quarter of a mile away. Sharks were especially sensitive to odors in the ocean, especially the smell of blood. Injured fish would make low-frequency vibrations, and even small amounts of blood would attract them from afar. Their sense of smell was even better than that of a land dog's. They could smell blood at 1 ppm, 1 millionth, in the water, meaning that their sense of smell could detect 1 drop of blood in 1 million drops of seawater. A 1-meter-long shark's nose was filled with olfactory nerve endings up to 4,842 square centimeters, like a 5 to 7 meter long man-eater shark. Its sense of smell was so sensitive that it could smell the blood of injured people and marine animals from several kilometers away. Tai Zhao, on the other hand, had more than 1 drop of blood. If there were sharks nearby, it would be strange if he didn't attract them. Yao Yao, Shu, Yun Yun, Xiao Xiao, let's go ashore. What are sharks? Lin Yi, on the other hand, knew that Tai Zhao's actions would attract sharks, and so he prepared for them to go ashore to hide. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to protect all 4 of them at the same time if the shark really came. Don't be caught off guard. Seeing how serious Lin Yi was, the mist didn't say much. She nodded. All right, Shu, let's go rest for a bit. We'll get some sun. Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao naturally listened to Lin Yi. Lin Yi had his reasons for telling them to go ashore. That's good too. Only brave people can fight a terrifying existence like sharks. Jiang Wen was a bit surprised at Lin Yi's cowardice, but the more cowardly Lin Yi was, the happier Jiang Wen was. Only Lin Yi's cowardice could highlight his bravery. Lin Yi smiled faintly and didn't say anything. If Jiang Wen wanted to be stupid, then let him be. He'd know what fear felt like when the sharks were attracted. Chapter 1162. Chapter 1160. Caring. Then watch me. Jiang Wen walked into the sea proudly. As far as he was concerned, sharks couldn't possibly appear on this shallow beach. However, he had only taken 2 steps when something that shocked him to the core happened. A shark's fin appeared on the calm surface of the sea, and it was swimming towards him at high speed. Wah! Jiang Wen's eyes went wide. He never would have thought that a shark would actually come. Tai Zhao, on the other hand, didn't seem to realize the danger that was coming. He was standing in the sea like an idiot, dripping blood into the water with his finger. His head was lowered, however, and he didn't see the shark swimming towards him. Jiang Wen's face froze. He didn't know if he should run or go forward. He'd be safe if he ran, but he'd lose his face in front of Meng Yao. He'd lost a lot of face this time, but he didn't dare go forward. How was he a match for a shark? Wasn't going to die if he went forward? With that thought, Jiang Wen sweated profusely. He couldn't make a choice. Jiang Wen bro, you can do it. Jiang Wen bro, you can do it. Yushu cheered. You can do it. Yao Yao loves watching heroes fight sharks. Jiang Wen's expression was worse than if he were crying. He wasn't an idiot. Fighting a shark like this was suicide. Tai Zhao, on the other hand, heard Yushu's yell. He paused and looked up to see the shark swimming towards him at breakneck speed, jumping up in fright. He didn't dare let any more blood into the water and started running away immediately. Jiang Wen's mental defenses crumbled as he watched Tai Zhao run off. He turned around and ran with Tai Zhao. Jiang Wen bro, why aren't you fighting sharks anymore? Yushu looked at Jiang Wen strangely. Well, I suddenly feel sorry for the shark. Look at how small it is. It must be a baby shark. It hasn't been in this world for long, and it'd be too pitiful if I killed it. Jiang Wen said with an idea. So I decided to let it go. I see. Yushu nodded thoughtfully. Of course, I'm very compassionate. Jiang Wen nodded quickly after seeing that Yushu believed him. Oh, okay, but Jiang Wen bro, there's a big shark over there. I'll leave it to you. Yushu pointed at the sea. Wah! Jiang Wen looked in the direction Yushu was pointing at and almost jumped up. A shark that was even bigger than the previous one was swimming towards them. Judging from the size of its fin, it was several times bigger than the previous shark. Jiang Wen was dumbfounded. He really wanted to slap himself a few times. What kind of mouth was this? Why was it so effective? He had just casually mentioned it, and a bigger shark had come. He really didn't know what to do. Jiang Wen, what's wrong? Is this shark also a baby shark? Could it be a little shark with obesity? Yushu giggled. You're young, aren't you? Ah, Of course not. Jiang Wen wanted to say what Yushu said, but since Yushu had already said it, it wouldn't be good if he repeated it. He laughed dryly. I think this shark must be related to the baby shark. They're a family. This is a mother shark, and she's afraid that I'll kill the baby shark. So the old one came to protect it. If I kill the old one, then the baby shark won't have a mother anymore. It's so pitiful, so I've decided to let them go. Yao Yao sis, don't blame me. It's not that I don't want to give you shark meat. It's just that I'm too compassionate. Jiang Wen's words were full of loopholes, and even Ming Yao couldn't help but laugh. But Ming Yao was different from Yushu. She wouldn't expose Jiang Wen, only looking down on him in her heart. How could someone like this be called brave? Finally, after the two sharks circled the nearby waters, they did not find their target and swam away after finding nothing. Only then did Jiang Wen let out a breath of relief, his face a little awkward. He didn't know if Ming Yao believed him or not, but he couldn't tell from Ming Yao's expression at all. Ming Yao was still as calm and expressionless as ever. But just when Jiang Wen didn't know what to do, someone came to his rescue. It was Gang Lu. At this moment, Gang Lu was driving a Toyota off-road vehicle to the beach. He stopped the car and ran towards Jiang Wen with the abalone and shark meat he just bought from the supermarket. And bro, I bought everything according to your orders. The abalone is the highest grade of Hokkaido abalone. It's very precious, and the shark meat is very fresh. Gang Lu said as he handed the two big bags to Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen was overjoyed at the sight. Now that the seafood was here, he didn't need to go into the sea to fish it, and he didn't need to fight the shark. Gang Lu, good job. Jiang Wen took the bag with a smile. But the bag wasn't even in Jiang Wen's hands for a second before Yushu snatched it away. Jiang Wen, bro, you're a kind person. These abalones are alive. You can't bear to eat them, right? And the shark meat. You didn't even bear to kill sharks before, so you definitely wouldn't eat their meat. So, in order to prevent you from being a heartless person, leave this to us. You be the good guy, and we'll be the bad guy. Yushu said confidently, and Jiang Wen couldn't refute her at all. If he were to retort, then all that love and whatnot would be bullsh asterisk T. So, Jiang Wen could only swallow his pride and keep it to himself. This was delicious seafood, and Jiang Wen wanted to try it himself. But he didn't expect that because of what he said before, he wouldn't be able to. But the more it was like this, the more Jiang Wen couldn't say anything. He had to act like he didn't care and said calmly, naturally, I won't eat it. Who told me to be a kind person? Then I'll give it all to you. Jiang Wen's heart was bleeding. Fuck, he wouldn't have bragged if he knew this was going to happen. Wasn't he just asking for trouble? Forget it. He'd go back and eat the lamb skewers from yesterday. There was still a lot left, and it was enough. Chapter 1163. Leave nothing behind. Jiang Wen bro's so kind. He's probably a vegetarian, right? He still has some lamb skewers and stuff. We can share them with him, can't we? We can't let him be so heartless. Xiao Xiao reminded. Why? Jiang Wen's eyes went wide, almost fainting from the rage. How was he supposed to live like this? Not only did he take the seafood, but he was also trying to kill them all, even the lamb skewers? All right, I forgot. Then let's go get them, Jiang Wen bro. Yushu slapped her forehead as realization dawned on her. Of course. Jiang Wen gave Yushu a smile that was uglier than a crying face, and so, a strange scene unfolded on the beach. Lin Yi, Ming Yao, Yushu, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao were all enjoying the barbecue together, while Jiang Wen, Tai Zhao, and Gang Lu stood at a distance, looking at them enviously. They wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Tai Zhao, what else do we have to eat? Jiang Wen asked bitterly. I've given out everything here. I wonder what else Gang Lu has. Tai Zhao turned to Gang Lu. I bought some canned beer from the supermarket, but we don't have any seafood left. We can't just eat beer, can we? Gang Lu shrugged with a bitter smile. Is there nothing else other than beer? Tai Zhao asked. There's still a few cups of instant noodles. Gang Lu said, instant noodles are fine too. We'll just make do with it. There's an electric kettle in the car, right? Let's boil some water. Jiang Wen thought that it was better than nothing. It didn't feel good to be hungry. But there's no water, and bro? Gang Lu said weakly. Instant noodles need water, and there's only beer here. We can't just use beer for instant noodles, can we? Isn't there seawater? You idiot, why don't you just get some seawater and boil it? We can use it as seafood noodles. Jiang Wen pointed at the sea, furious. This Gang Lu really was an idiot. There was so much water in front of them, and he said there was no water? What kind of look was that? But the seawater is salty. Tai Zhao asked, confused. Wouldn't it be less salty if you added less seasoning? Jiang Wen glared. Thus, the three of them ate seafood noodles and drank beer. It was quite a unique experience. And bro, this noodles is pretty good. So fresh. Tai Zhao didn't have enough after one bowl and made another. Of course, don't you know who I am? Jiang Wen said proudly. Lin Yi and the others, on the other hand, were eating happily, especially Yushu and Xiao Xiao. Their mouths were covered in grease, and they looked like hungry ghosts coming back to life. Linny, honey, try Xiao Xiao's abalone. It's super delicious. Xiao Xiao picked up an extremely large abalone, dipped it in seasoning, and put it next to Lin Yi's mouth. Okay. Lin Yi opened his mouth, his imagination running wild. Smiling, abalone? Delicious. On the other side, Yushu, naturally, didn't want to be outdone. She looked at Xiao Xiao with disdain. Abalone. Naturally, Yushu knew what it meant. It was often said on the forums. It used to be called abalone, but now it was called fungus, and so it didn't matter if Xiao Xiao was doing this on purpose or not. As her number one opponent, Yushu began to retaliate. She picked up a cup of milk tea and gave it to Lin Yi. Chill, bro, you're thirsty, right? Drink some of Shu's milk, huh? Lin Yi almost couldn't hold it in. These two were doing this on purpose, weren't they? Yes, it did seem like it. Lin Yi took the milk tea from Yushu's hands and took a sip. Jiang Wen's eyes went red as he watched Lin Yi's side eat so happily. That's our stuff, and Lin Yi took it. What a bully. Tai Zhao threw away the bowl in his hand. And bro, are we going to get revenge? Gang Lu asked carefully. Revenge? What revenge? Lin Yi's a mystic, and I'm not an idiot. The three of us aren't even enough to warm up for him. Jiang Wen knew his situation very well. This Lin Yi was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He'd been tricked a couple of times already, even losing his kidney. Of course, we can't fight him head on. Why don't we play some tricks? As Tai Zhao's number one strategist, Gang Lu was quite good at scheming. Tricks? You think you can win against Yushu and Xiao Xiao? Jiang Wen rolled his eyes. My balls are hurting right now. Gang Lu went silent. Going head-on didn't work, and playing dirty didn't work either. What else could he do? Gang Lu was right. Jiang Wen really didn't have any tricks up his sleeve right now. Before a new master arrived, Jiang Wen really didn't have anything he could rely on. Jiang Wen didn't want to get into a conflict with Lin Yi, but he wanted to use soft tactics to get on Ming Yao's good side. At noon, there were more and more tourists at the beach. This place wasn't a safe swimming area, but the environment was good. Many people who came to the beach for barbecue would choose this place. Of course, most people would leave after they were done barbecuing. Very few people would stay the night or swim here. They'd set up camp at the beach. After all, not many people were as brave as Lin Yi, not afraid of sharks. Driving a Q7 and a Land Cruiser to the beach to eat instant noodles? Which family's young masters are they from? Are they trying to act cool? I think they're probably rentals. Not necessarily. Look at how they use seawater to cook noodles. Maybe they have a special hobby. Maybe they just like that. Or maybe they got robbed. They took all the good food they brought, and now they can only eat instant noodles? The truth emperor appeared, but no one believed him. There's no robbery in this area. Why aren't we robbed? Someone retorted. Jiang Wen's face darkened when he heard the tourists talking about him. He stood up with a fierce face and looked at the crowd. What are you looking at? I like instant noodles. What's wrong with that? Seawater boiled noodles are called seafood noodles. Normal people can't even get to eat that. The crowd started snickering, and Jiang Wen got even angrier. But the law couldn't punish everyone, and he couldn't go looking for trouble one by one. Could he? He wouldn't be a match for them if they ganged up on him. With that thought, Jiang Wen could only swallow his anger. Let's go. Let's go. There was no point in staying here any longer. Meng Yao and the others would go back after eating. After all, No one would stay here for 2 nights straight. Chapter 1164. Chapter 1162. Xie Yufeng, again the 12th grade classes were quite tight, and Miss Shu and Tang and all had to go back and study. I'm so full. Yushu held her round belly as she laid on the beach, not willing to move. It's so delicious. That Gang Lu sure is a nice guy, buying so much good stuff. Xiao Xiao burped. She couldn't take it anymore. That's right. Meng Yao and Tang Yun, on the other hand, were more gentlemanly. They were the type who only tasted a little and wouldn't keep eating just because the food was delicious. Isn't that Lin Yi? There's also Meng Yao, Yu Shu, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao. A familiar voice rang out just as they were about to rest. Lin Yi raised his head, not expecting Xie Yufeng to be here. Lin Yi was a bit surprised to see Xie Yufeng here and now. Xie Yufeng, your car's fixed? Lin Yi was already suspicious of Xie Yufeng's parentage. This guy hid his strength in front of him, so naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't be too close with him. His attitude towards Xie Yufeng had always been cold. Haha, it's just a car. I bought another one. Xie Yufeng's eyes flashed with hatred. If it weren't for Lin Yi, he wouldn't be the one giving money to someone else, but someone else giving him money. This damn guy, always appearing when he wanted to show his strength. Wasn't he just making things difficult for him? Originally, Xie Yufeng didn't want to greet Lin Yi today, but thinking of the heavy responsibility his family gave him, he had to investigate Lin Yi's background. He had to pretend to get close to Lin Yi, hoping to get some information from Lin Yi. From his observation, other than Meng Yao, Yu Shu, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao, Lin Yi didn't seem to have any contact with anyone else. This brat seems to be flirting with girls all day long. Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Xiao Xiao's backgrounds were obvious to Yufeng. Other than Tang Yun, who was a commoner, all three of them had some background. However, all three of them got along very well with Lin Yi. It had to be said that Lin Yi was very powerful. If he didn't have a bit of skill, he wouldn't have been able to get the favor of these three girls. Could it be that Lin Yi was really a disciple of a hidden family, or even someone from an ancient sect? The more Yufeng interacted with Lin Yi, the more he couldn't figure out Lin Yi's background, so he didn't dare to act rashly. He was a prideful person, thinking that he could kill Lin Yi with one move, but after all these setbacks, he had calmed down. He was waiting for the Xiao family to make the first move. He didn't have much hope before, since the Xiao family had fallen to a certain point, and they couldn't even take care of themselves. How would they have the time to cause trouble for Lin Yi? But now, the Xiao family had the support of the Hidden House Pie, and the people Lin Yi injured were from the Hidden House Pie, so Yufeng didn't want to be the one to take the lead. Letting the Xiao family take the lead and kill Lin Yi would be the best. Even if they didn't kill Lin Yi, they would be able to find out more about Lin Yi's background. Yufeng wasn't an idiot. He had a more important mission right now, and that was to hit on Ling Shan. This was the genius girl of Hao Song, and she was very pretty. He heard that Hao Song's arts were very suitable for dual practicing, and once he got her in his bed, wouldn't his kung fu improve by leaps and bounds? He heard that the old man of Hao Song was a useless martial artist, yet he was forcefully pushed to the late phase of Golden Class. He was a genius, so wouldn't he be able to go straight to Earth Class? With that thought, Yufeng abandoned all his previous plans and gave up on the girl beside Lin Yi. This wasn't a joke. Ling Shan was working in Songshan, and if she knew that he was hitting on girls in school, her impression of him would plummet. It wasn't uncommon for noble houses to have multiple wives and concubines, but there were some things that didn't matter. Plus, Xie Yufeng hadn't even gotten married yet, and he was already thinking about getting a concubine. That was a huge taboo, and so Yufeng calmed down and didn't target Lin Yi. He was just a little puzzled. Why wasn't the Xiao family making a move yet? What were they waiting for? Oh, do you have anything else? If not, we'll be leaving. Lin Yi looked at Yufeng. He didn't want to talk to him anymore. All right, you guys have fun. I'll be leaving. Yufeng nodded and turned around, his face a little dark. Yufeng came here today to check things out. He'd heard from his contacts in the Songshan police station that Ling Shan was on leave tomorrow and the day after. He wasn't surprised at all, since different departments had different rules when it came to holidays. It was normal for Ling Shan to be on duty during the holidays. Yufeng planned to officially invite Ling Shan over tomorrow, but he wasn't very familiar with the tourist attractions around Songshan. In order to avoid a situation where he had to make a last-minute effort, he decided to come over first to check things out. So today, he drove around with Peng Hu and Song Ming, but didn't expect to bump into Lin Yi. Yufeng brought some barbecue ingredients today, planning to practice with Peng Hu and Song Ming. It was also a way to practice his barbecue skills. And so, after Yufeng came back from Lin Yi's place, the three sat on the ground, ready to start barbecuing. Lin Yi glanced at Yufeng and the others, not bothering with them. After resting for a bit, the five were about to leave when Lin Yi saw someone he didn't expect. Chun Shi, the girl Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao met at the beef noodle shop. She was with an old man, picking up trash on the beach with a sack. This area was filled with people who came by themselves to barbecue and barbecue. The beer bottles and soft drinks were also thrown on the ground. There were even some rich people who didn't even want the iron skewers and grill from the mutton skewers. They just threw them on the beach and left. Therefore, every holiday and weekend, if one were to scavenge here, they would have a good harvest. Chun Shi's harvest today was quite a lot. One could tell from her blushing face that she was very happy. But Lin Yi's eyes landed on the old man beside Chun Shi. A mystic late phase, peak spiritual practitioner? Lin Yi's eyes were about to fall out of their sockets. A mystic late phase, peak spiritual practitioner coming out to pick up trash? Why was this world full of weird situations? Chapter 1165. Conflict and Lesson. Lin Yi wanted to observe this old man for a bit. Just what was going on with him? Chun Shi and the old man shuttled past the tourists barbecuing on the beach, picking up the beverage cans and beer bottles that they threw around. Many people looked at them with disgust and disdain. Of course, Chun Shi didn't notice Lin Yi. She probably didn't have time to pay attention to other people. Her attention was all on the bottles. Soon, Chun Shi walked to Yufeng's side. Just like before, she picked up a beer can beside Yufeng, but after picking it up, she realized something was wrong. There was still beer in the beer bar. It wasn't empty. Chun Shi quickly put it down, but her actions were clearly seen by Xie Yufeng. Yufeng was furious and pointed at Chun Shi. "Little bitch, what are you doing?" "I'm sorry. I thought it was an empty can." Chun Shi quickly apologized to Yufeng. This had happened before, but Chun Shi could only swallow it. After all, she was here to pick up trash, so it was her responsibility. Some tourists were unreasonable, but Chun Shi couldn't do anything about it. Sorry? Sorry is enough? Fuck, I'm so unlucky. Yufeng was happily eating a mouthful of meat and a mouthful of beer, but Chun Shi almost took the beer away, although he put it down in the end. Looking at Chun Shi's dirty face, could the beer still be drinkable after she touched it? With that in mind, Yufeng picked up the half-empty can of beer that Chun Shi touched and threw it at Chun Shi, causing the beer to spill all over Chun Shi's body. The old man beside Chun Shi wasn't spared either. He was also drenched in beer. "Kid, you should forgive people when you can. Don't you think you're going a bit too far?" The old man frowned as well. He didn't think that Yufeng would be this arrogant. He'd had some conflict with other people when he was picking up trash, but they just scolded him a little and let it go. Yufeng didn't do this, pouring beer all over other people's bodies. Too far? Old man, let me tell you, if she wasn't a little girl, I'd have slapped her in the face if it were you. This was already considered light. What the hell was that? How dare you meddle in other people's business? Xie Yufeng was humiliated by Lin Yi, and then he was beaten up by Iron Fist Wu and extorted a large sum of money from him. Naturally, he was in a bad mood. He wanted to find someone to vent his anger on, and these two scavengers came to him. Chun Shi was indeed very pretty, on par with Meng Yao and the others, but she was wearing tattered clothes and a straw hat, which made her look less attractive. What was Xie Yufeng's background as well? The young master of House Yu. In his eyes, people like Chun Shi were the lowest of the low. So what if she was pretty? Even if it looked good, he wouldn't bother to do it for free. He felt that it would be a loss of face. If people knew that he, the young master of House Yu, had a girl that picked up trash, Wouldn't he be the laughing stock of the other houses? So Xie Yufeng didn't care about the fairer sex. He just wanted to use this as an excuse to vent his anger. I was going to let this go, but since you're meddling in other people's business, I've changed my mind. Kneel down and kowtow to me, and I'll let this go. Otherwise, I'll call the police and arrest you. Xie Yufeng felt much better after saying this. The anger that he'd been holding in for so many days was finally released. During this period of time, he was simply too aggrieved, almost suffocating to death. He was the young master of House Yu, and he hadn't even achieved anything yet. How much had he suffered? He couldn't do anything to Linny for now, but this old scavenger dared to talk to him like this? Did he really think that he was a tiger that got bullied by a dog? Call the police? It's not like we're breaking the law. What right do you have to arrest us? She looked at Xie Yufeng, unconvinced. She had already apologized, but this guy didn't let it go. He even asked Grandpa Zhu to kneel. Damn it. Picking up trash? You stole my beer. Did you think I didn't see it? My two friends here are witnesses, and they can see it clearly. And I'm not afraid to tell you that my fiancée is a police. Do you think she'll believe me, or you? Xie Yufeng said proudly. At this point, he had already treated Lingshan as his fiancée. As far as Xie Yufeng was concerned, this was a marriage between two families, and Hao Song must have notified Lingshan already. Although the two houses weren't officially engaged, the two heads of the houses had discussed it, and it was basically set in stone. There wouldn't be any problems. Next, it would be a matter of whether or not the two of them got along well. As long as the two didn't have too big of a conflict and got along well, the next step would be to discuss the marriage. Unless the two of them didn't see eye to eye with each other, or if there was a bigger conflict, they would consider it. Of course, in many cases, for the sake of face, even if the two of them didn't get along, they would still force the marriage for the sake of the big picture. After all, it was already decided, and if they broke up because of some reason, it wouldn't look good. Grandpa Zhu's eyes flashed coldly. As a mystic late-phase peak spiritual practitioner, he wouldn't have come out to pick up trash if he wasn't asked by the head of the house. But this little young master actually wanted him to kneel down. How could he take it? Yufeng's arrogant attitude had triggered Grandpa Zhu's murderous intent. He decided to teach this arrogant bastard a lesson. If he wasn't afraid of trouble, he would have killed him on the spot. Good, very good. Grandpa Zhu didn't get angry, but smiled instead. He reached out to pat Yufeng's body. It looked like he was patting Yufeng's shoulder, but it was actually filled with killing intent. A mystic peak like Grandpa Zhu had a lot of tricks up his sleeve. What he wanted to do was to pour his pure qi into Yufeng's body. Yufeng might be fine right now, but this pure qi would stay in his body for a long time to come, causing him pain all over his body and tormenting him. Of course, this was only for normal people. To a master, this little bit of qi could be refined. Lin Yi often used these kinds of tricks, but Lin Yi was much better than Grandpa Zhu. Chapter 1166. They were all hidden. So for normal practitioners, this move could only transfer a limited amount of qi. But Lin Yi was different. Lin Yi could compress qi, which meant that in the same amount of time, Lin Yi could transfer more qi. So the effect of Lin Yi's move was much higher than Grandpa Zhu's. Lin Yi's move could even deal with high-level practitioners. You can refine a little bit of qi, but I'll give you a lot of it. Let's see how you refine it. Even if you can, it's not something that can be done in a day, and if you refine too much of it, you might even go crazy. Wasn't Yao Wang in the same situation? His entire body was covered in needles, and under each needle was the compressed energy sealed by Lin Yi. Unless Yao Wang used all his strength to refine it bit by bit, or he had some miraculous medicine, or he had the help of a master, but Yao Wang didn't have any of that right now. He could only endure the needles every day. He was angry, but there was nothing he could do. But what Grandpa Zhu didn't expect was that when he reached out to transfer the energy into Xie Yufeng's body, an accident happened. Xie Yufeng dodged Grandpa Zhu's palm effortlessly, tilting his body to the side. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Mystic late phase peak, mystic early phase peak. Grandpa Zhu paused as well. He wanted to teach Xie Yufeng a lesson, but he didn't expect this person to be a master as well. Wasn't this a bit too dramatic? He was just picking up trash at the beach, and he met a mystic class master? Grandpa Zhu was surprised at Xie Yufeng's age, but he was also worried. It wasn't that he was afraid of Xie Yufeng's strength, but that his identity would be exposed. All these years, he'd been following the orders of the head of the house, staying by Chun Shi and her mother's side. He'd never made a single mistake, but now something like this happened. Luckily, Chun Shi didn't understand the division of strength in the martial world, and she wouldn't understand what Xie Yufeng meant. With that thought, Grandpa Zhu calmed down. "Young man, apologize to us, and we'll let this matter go. Otherwise, since the other party already knew his strength, there was no need for Grandpa Zhu to speak softly. He directly threatened him in a cold voice. Apologize? Which family are you from?" Yufeng wasn't afraid at all. He stared at the old man, thinking that this old man must belong to some family. As long as he said that he was from House Yu, this old man wouldn't dare do anything to him. "Which family are you from?" Grandpa Zhu frowned. "I'm for House Yu," Yufeng said proudly. "If you know what's good for you, then scram. Don't get in my way, or else House Yu? Which House Yu?" Grandpa Zhu asked indifferently. "House Yu, haven't you heard of them? The head of the 9 noble houses. Xie Yufeng. I thought it was the hidden House Yu, but it's just the common House Yu," Grandpa Zhu said faintly. "Since you don't want to apologize, take this." With that, Grandpa Zhu was about to slap him. However, before Grandpa Zhu could slap him, he heard a voice shouting, "Wait a minute. Linny, why are you here?" Yufeng gritted his teeth, his eyes bloodshot. Master Lin was here again. Yufeng almost spat out blood when he heard this voice. It was already hard enough for him to fight a mystic late-phase peak with his early-phase peak strength. But Lin, he suddenly appeared. He had no choice but to hide his strength. Wasn't he just waiting for a beating? But the one who was the most depressed wasn't Yufeng, but Grandpa Zhu. When he heard Yufeng call out Lin Yi's name, he was shocked and quickly retracted his chi. After this period of investigation, he already knew who this Lin Yi Chunshi was. He was just thinking about how to stop Lin Yi from causing trouble. But before he could think of anything, he ran into Lin Yi. The reason why Lin Yi appeared at this time was to test this Grandpa Zhu who was with Chun Shi. As far as Lin Yi was concerned, a mystic late-phase peak master hiding by Chun Shi's side was something unimaginable. A mystic coming out to pick up trash? Unless he had some sort of special hobby, or he was crazy. Of course, this Grandpa Zhu didn't look crazy, but it didn't make sense to say that it was a hobby. Lin Yi had never heard of a master with this hobby, unless there was a purpose. With that thought, Lin Yi's eyes focused and walked over. "It's nothing. I know this girl, so I'm asking for mercy on her behalf. Let's just forget about this." Lin Yi pointed at Chun Shi, saying that he was asking for mercy, but in fact, he was using an unquestionable tone, making Yufeng unable to refute. Yufeng knew that this wasn't the time to be enemies with Lin Yi, and he had to give face to Lin Yi, so he took the chance and said, "Since you're Lin classmate's friend, then let's forget about this." "Okay, you guys continue," Lin Yi said as he pulled Chun Shi to the side. The meaning behind his words was clear. He knew this little girl, but he didn't know this old man. "You can continue with this old man." Yufeng paused, but he could clearly feel that the old man in front of him also retracted his chi. This made Yufeng confused. He was afraid that Lin Yi would see through his strength, but this old man was also afraid that Lin Yi would see through his strength. Otherwise, why would he hide his strength the moment Lin Yi came? Grandpa Zhu retracted his gaze and walked towards Lin Yi and Chun Shi, not talking to Yufeng anymore. At this moment, Yufeng was even more certain of his suspicion. This old man was definitely afraid of his strength being exposed. Otherwise, why did this old thing act as if nothing had happened just now when he was still clamoring that he would let him take a slap from him? Yufeng analyzed and came to a conclusion. This old man and Lin, he had some sort of secret just like him. As if he was on steroids, he got excited and pointed at Grandpa Zhu. "Old man, don't go. Didn't you want to hit me? Take a slap from me first." As soon as he finished, he raised his fist and punched the old man's back. Chapter 1167. Chapter 1165. Stupid or Genius. Yufeng was overjoyed as soon as his fist hit the target. As expected, his guess was right. This old man was the same as him. Hiding something, he was hiding his strength as well. At the thought of this, Xie Yufeng raised his fist and punched again and again. Without Qi, Yufeng could still teach this old man a lesson. Grandpa Zhu was stronger than Yufeng, but under the situation where neither of them used Qi, Yufeng had the upper hand. Yufeng was a young man, so he had the upper hand in terms of stamina. Qi aside, Yufeng's physique was far stronger than an old man's, and so Yufeng started beating the old man up. She didn't think that Yufeng would start beating people up in the blink of an eye. She jumped in shock. Seeing Lin Yi's surprise and joy, Chun-Shi's face turned to worry. Big brother, don't you know that person? Can you stop him from beating Grandpa Zhu? My words might not work. Your Grandpa Zhu was so cocky that he wanted to slap him. He was the one who provoked him. I couldn't do anything about it. Lin Yi said helplessly. But it looks like your Grandpa Zhu has a trump card. He won't get hurt. It'll be fine. Chun-Shi didn't really understand what Lin Yi was saying, but Lin Yi's words did make sense. Grandpa Zhu did provoke him first, didn't he? Grandpa Zhu almost spat out blood after hearing Lin Yi's words. If he didn't come, wouldn't I have beaten him up? Why did you come here if you had nothing to do? But Grandpa Zhu felt wronged, and he couldn't say it out loud. Yufeng's fists rained down on Grandpa Zhu's face, beating him up. But Grandpa Zhu also noticed a problem. Yufeng didn't seem to be using Qi at all. If Yufeng was afraid of hurting him, and didn't use Qi after seeing him retract his Qi, Grandpa Zhu wouldn't believe it. Yufeng wasn't that kind of person. The only possibility was that the kid was afraid of Lin Yi. It seemed like he did not dare to use his true Qi. Thinking of this, Grandpa Zhu let out a sigh of relief. In this way, no matter how he hit, it would only be superficial wounds. He wouldn't be able to hurt his tendons and bones. He would endure it for now. When Lin Yi left, he would come back for revenge. Xie Yufeng, right? Just you wait. If I don't send you to the hospital today, my surname isn't Zhu. Of course, Grandpa Zhu didn't dare to kill Xie Yufeng. After all, he was from the common world's house you. What if he caused trouble for the head of the house? Lin Yi wanted Yufeng to test Grandpa Zhu, but seeing that Grandpa Zhu wasn't even fighting back, he was sure that this guy was hiding his strength on purpose, not wanting him to find out. Then there must be something wrong with this person. After all, when Lin Yi came to mediate, it was understandable that Grandpa Zhu withdrew his true Qi. But now, it seemed that he had been guarding against Lin Yi all along. Chun-Shi, how's your mom? Lin Yi turned to Chun-Shi. She's a lot better after drinking the medicine. Chun-Shi's eyes flashed with happiness when she mentioned her mom. Her mom's condition was improving, and this was her biggest wish. Thank you, Lin Yi bro. It's nothing, it's nothing. Lin Yi looked at Grandpa Zhu deeply, but he couldn't ask Chun-Shi face to face right now. He'd have to wait for a chance later. Xiao Xiao saw Chun-Shi and quickly walked over. Chun-Shi saw her and greeted her. Xiao Xiao sis. After the greeting, Chun-Shi's eyes turned back to Yufeng and Grandpa Zhu. Yufeng evidently didn't plan on letting Grandpa Zhu go. He was pissed off. He'd been holding it in for too long, hiding his strength and getting beaten up by people who weren't as strong as him. But now, Yufeng was finally feeling good. Old thing, you're hiding your strength too? Don't you feel good getting beaten up by someone who's weaker than you? But it didn't matter if Grandpa Zhu felt good or not. Yufeng felt really good. It was a sense of accomplishment that he'd been holding back for so long. Now, he felt like he'd swapped roles with the person who bullied him. This old man was probably feeling the same way he was before, right? He couldn't use his strength. Why? Yufeng was getting more and more excited as he fought. He wanted to return all the pain he'd been through to this old man. Xiao Xiao, let's go. Lin Yi didn't want to stay any longer. It didn't matter who this old man was, or if he was good or bad. At least he wasn't hostile towards Chun-Shi right now. Lin Yi didn't have to worry about Chun-Shi being in danger. He believed that once he left, the situation would change. Yufeng would go from being the one hitting people to being hit. Lin Yi, why didn't you stop Yufeng? Xiao Xiao paused. She didn't expect Lin Yi to just leave like that. She was confused. Let's go back. Lin Yi gave Xiao Xiao a look and pulled her back. Xiao Xiao didn't understand what Lin Yi meant, but with Lin Yi's intelligence, there had to be a reason. She didn't say anything and just looked at Chun Shi before leaving with Lin Yi. On the other side, Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Tang Yin didn't like Yu Feng beating up an old man, but what surprised them was that Lin Yi didn't care at all. Meng Yao wanted to say something, but Yu Shu looked at Grandpa Zhu and then at Yu Feng. She pulled Meng Yao. Yao Yao, shield bros in the car. Let's go. I want to go home. Tang Yin wanted to say something as well, but seeing that Xiao Xiao didn't say anything, she didn't either and got in the car. It wasn't until Lin Yi started the car and drove away that Xiao Xiao spoke her mind. Lin Yi, honey, why did you let Yu Feng beat up that old man? Is that so? If Yu Feng really wanted to, the old man would have been dead already. Lin Yi smiled. Xiao Xiao blinked, not understanding what Lin Yi meant. Yu Shu, on the other hand, slapped her forehead. That old man is a master too, but he probably hid his strength in front of Shield Bro. Lin Yi looked back at Shu, a little surprised. He didn't expect her to be right. Chapter 1168. The situation reversed. Lin Yi didn't know the reason behind it, but since Yu Shu didn't want to talk about it, Lin Yi wouldn't proactively ask. After all, it might be related to other people's privacy. Yu Shu's words made Xiao Xiao pause. She felt that the old man was a bit suspicious, but she didn't think that he was hiding his strength. But now that Yu Shu said it, it made sense. Before Lin Yi walked over, the old man did force Yu Feng to apologize. If it was a normal trash picker, the first thing they would do in front of an arrogant young master like this would be to apologize over and over again. They wouldn't even have the intention to fight back, right? But this old man did, and he was very calm, as if he was very powerful. But after Lin Yi walked over, the situation flipped. The old man withered instantly, turning around and leaving without saying a word. This proved that although the old man was withered, he was still a person with strength. He still had his pride, so even if he left, he wouldn't say anything soft. Tang Yin and Meng Yao, on the other hand, remembered that Yu Feng purposely hid his strength in front of Lin Yi and got beaten up by those gangsters. Could it be that today's incident was the same as well? Lin Yi smiled and stopped the car not far away. She was right, but right now, it's probably that old man beating Yu Feng up, right? Shu brought a complete set of equipment this time. She even brought binoculars with her. So, they took out the binoculars from the trunk and looked at the beach. Sure enough, they saw a shocking scene. Yu Feng was having so much fun beating him up that he didn't even notice that Lin Yi had left. He finally found the balance in his heart, and all the frustration he had accumulated over the past few days was finally released. So what if you're a mystic late phase peak? Didn't you still get beaten up by me, a mystic early phase peak? And I didn't even use a bit of chi. I was using my bare fist to beat you up. But it didn't take long for Yu Feng to feel as if he was punching a metal block. The next moment, Yu Feng realized that the old man was gathering his chi again, and this time, the old man went berserk and sent a palm towards Yu Feng. Yu Feng was shocked. He didn't expect the old man to reveal his true strength after hiding it for so long. What was going on? Did he not want to hide anymore? Yu Feng looked around subconsciously. Where was Lin Yi? Lin Yi had already left. The next moment, beads of cold sweat formed on Yu Feng's forehead. Why did Lin Yi leave? I haven't had enough yet. Even if you're leaving, you should at least let me know, right? I'll go with you. Now that you're gone, this old man will recover his strength. Isn't this a trap for me? Yu Feng wanted to run, but before he could do so, he was heavily injured by Grandpa Zhu. Ah! Yu Feng screamed and subconsciously channeled his chi, but he was only a peak early phase mystic class. How could he be a match for a peak late phase mystic class? There was a difference of a few levels between them. This Grandpa Zhu didn't want to kill Yu Feng, and so it became a one-sided abuse. Old Zhu almost went crazy with anger. You're just a peak early phase mystic class and you dare hit me? If it weren't for the fact that I was afraid of being discovered by Lin Yi, I would have sent you to the hospital already. You didn't beg for mercy, and you still dare to do this to me? And so, now that the tables had turned, how could old Zhu let Yufeng go? If he didn't send Yufeng to the hospital, his surname wasn't Zhu. Chun Shi, who was watching from the sidelines, was dumbfounded. What was going on? Grandpa Zhu, who was just getting beaten up, suddenly turned from the one being beaten to the one being beaten up? Wasn't this change a little too fast? Little bastard, didn't you beat me up? Aren't you fierce? Let's see if you can still do it now. Old Zhu was infuriated. You're just a disciple of the common world house you, and you're acting like this? If you're stronger than me, then I won't say anything if you beat me up. It'll be my bad luck. But you're so weak, and you're still acting like this? Do you want to die? Spare me, Grandpa. Spare me, I was wrong. Yufeng gave in immediately, not even thinking of fighting back. He was a mystic class, but he was only a peak early phase mystic class, while old Zhu was a peak late phase mystic class. The difference was too big, and Yufeng didn't dare fight back. If it was Lin Yi, he could rely on his practitioner's arts and pure qi to fight against Yufeng. But Yufeng's strength came from the accumulation of elixirs and elixirs. As a direct descendant of House Yu, he was naturally the focus of the family's nurturing, and so his martial arts were mostly accelerated. He lacked battle experience, so how could he be an opponent for an old man like old Zhu? It was wise of him not to fight back, but if he did, he'd be in a worse state. Right now, Yufeng was using his qi to protect his vitals, and old Zhu didn't want to kill him. Yufeng looked like he was heavily injured, but his meridians weren't damaged. Only his bones and tendons were injured. He'd be fine after lying in the hospital for a while. Yufeng didn't think that he'd be so unlucky today. As expected, seeing Lin Yi was his unlucky day. The Miss Shu, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao exchanged binoculars as they looked at Yufeng's pitiful state. They couldn't help but laugh out loud. Lin Yi was right. The one getting beaten up was Yufeng. After beating Yufeng up, old Zhu was afraid that the police would come. So he turned around and pulled the shocked Chenxi away, quickly leaving the scene. Yufeng's two followers, Peng Hu and Songming, naturally didn't dare block their way. They weren't old Zhu's opponents, so it didn't matter if they left. The most important thing was to get Yufeng to the hospital. It seemed like Yufeng's injuries weren't light, and if they were late, he'd be in danger. Old Zhu wasn't afraid of anything, and he didn't believe that Yufeng would call the police. Young masters of noble houses rarely called the police, and Yufeng was hiding his strength, so he couldn't tell anyone about it. With his strength, he didn't need to worry about it being exposed. If Yufeng revealed it, then it was the same as revealing his true strength. He didn't know why Yufeng was hiding it, but old Zhu didn't need to know, as long as he knew he was fine. Chapter 1169. Who is the fiancé? I see. Chun Shi nodded, not really understanding. Then Grandpa Zhu's kung fu is really strong. And you need to practice the things I taught you. You'll be like me in the future, a strong person. Grandpa Zhu smiled. I will, Grandpa Zhu. Don't worry. I practice every day. Chun Shi nodded enviously. But you have to keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone about this, understand? Including your mother and friends. Grandpa Zhu reminded again. And don't worry, Grandpa Zhu. I won't say anything. You don't want to expose your identity. Do you want to be a hidden hero? Chun Shi nodded solemnly. This is related to my enemies. You don't want me to be hunted down, do you? Grandpa Zhu smiled. I see. Chun Shi's pretty face showed worry and determination. Don't worry, Grandpa Zhu. I won't tell anyone about this. Not even if you beat me to death. Good girl. Grandpa Zhu patted Chun Shi's shoulder, an almost imperceptible smirk on his face. Oh, I guessed it right. I really am Prophet Shu. Yushu cheered excitedly with the binoculars. Meng Yao and Tang Yin couldn't help but laugh at Yushu's words. As far as they could see, this Xie Yufeng wasn't a good person, and that Grandpa Zhu was suspicious as well. It was a dog-eat-dog thing. Only Lin Yi was thinking. Songshan was a small place like this, and there were so many masters around. Song Ming and Peng Hu didn't call the cops, but some kind-hearted bystanders called the police. Normally, Lingshan wouldn't care about a normal brawl like this, but this was a special time, and the missing people were usually the ones who disappeared after a brawl. Lingshan had told the call center to notify the criminal police if there were any more brawls. Lingshan didn't dare Tari after hearing about a fight at the beach. She brought her men and rushed to the beach. Lingshan came to the seaside, naturally, and walked towards the place with the most onlookers. The first thing she saw was the bloodied Xie Yufeng. What happened? Who's the witness? Lingshan walked over quickly. Li Penghu and Wang Songming were stunned. Who called the police? Yufeng didn't want to lose face, so naturally he didn't want to call the cops, especially since his fiancée was a police. He didn't want Lingshan to know that he got beaten up. That would be too embarrassing. Yufeng knew Lingshan, but Lingshan didn't know Yufeng. Penghu and Songming didn't know Lingshan either. Yufeng planned to do a good job today and ask Lingshan out at night, so Lingshan didn't even know that this guy in front of her was her fiancé. It's nothing. There's nothing going on here, officer comrade. You can go back. Penghu said, nothing? Lingshan paused and pointed at Yufeng. He's beaten up like this, and you're saying he's fine? Did you beat him up? No, this is my boss, but it's just a small injury. It's not a big deal. We'll go to the hospital ourselves later. We don't need to alert the police. Songming said with a smile as he walked over. This little girl is quite pretty. But she looked like a trainee police officer and should be easy to talk to. Songming said in a nice tone. Small injury? How is this a small injury? The attacker is a threat to the public. What's going on? Lingshan felt that there was more to this the more she listened to Songming's cover-up. Could it be that this had something to do with the missing people cases? Did the attacker disappear as well? Songming and Penghu looked at each other, their faces changing. It seemed like this officer wasn't going to let this go. This was going to be a bit troublesome. It's like this. My boss's fiancé is also a police. My boss lost a fight, and he didn't want to lose face in front of his fiancé, so he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Officer, since we're all friends, could you let this go? Songming hesitated and decided to tell the truth. Plus, we're the victims. We'll let this go, you see. His fiancé is also from the police? Who is it? What's her name? Lingshan frowned. If what Songming said was true, then she'd give them some face. He was right. The victim wasn't going to pursue this, so there was no reason for her to hold on to it. My boss's fiancée is called Lingshan. She's the captain of Songshan's police department. Songming said. Wait. Songming and Penghu didn't know who Lingshan was. But how could Yufeng not know? He'd been studying the information his father had given him about Lingshan, and he'd seen her picture a couple of times. How could he not recognize her now that she was right in front of him? He'd been covering his face and squatting on the ground because he was afraid that Lingshan would recognize him. That'd be too embarrassing. Who knew that Songming and Penghu would spill his guide? How was he supposed to live? However, when he wanted to stop him, he couldn't. In the end, he was a step too late, and Songming Wang said it out loud. Yufeng covered his face, speechless. What? Lingshan's eyes went wide, as if she'd seen a ghost. You're saying his fiancée is called Lingshan? The captain of Songshan's police department? Yeah. Songming's heart was pounding as well, but he'd already said it, and he couldn't go back on it. He didn't know what was going on, but he could only nod. I'm Lingshan, but I don't know him. Lingshan pointed at Yufeng and said faintly, Huh, you're Lingshan? Your sis-in-law? Songming looked at Lingshan in disbelief. He didn't expect to bump into her here. Chapter 1170. Chapter 1168. Lingshan's rejection. Yufeng held his head on the ground, knowing that he couldn't keep pretending anymore. He raised his head and limped up. Lingshan, I'm Yufeng. House Yu's Yufeng. With that, he reached his hand out, wanting to shake Lingshan's hand. House Yu? Yufeng? Why are you here? Lingshan paused, not expecting to meet someone from House Yu here. She didn't understand how this House Yu became her fiancé. Yufeng saw that Lingshan wasn't going to shake his hand, and he felt a little awkward. Lingshan, Grandpa Song told you about us, right? I wanted to ask you out tomorrow, right? I just want to check things out first. Wait, what do you mean by us? What do you mean by us? What did my grandpa say to me? Lingshan interrupted him, frowning. Our marriage. My dad already talked to Grandpa Song about it. Yu Feng paused, not expecting that Ling Shan didn't know about this. Did Hao Song not tell him about it? How come I didn't know about this? Ling Shan looked at Yu Feng coldly, feeling that his words weren't trustworthy at all. Was this guy an imposter? She was engaged to a house Yu, and she didn't even know about it? What was going on? Ugh. Ling Shan's question surprised Yu Feng, but he didn't panic. You can call Grandpa Song, and you'll know if I'm telling the truth. Now that things had come to this, Yu Feng didn't care if his image was ugly or not. He had to confirm things first before anything else. Lu Wangli, look after these three. I'll go make a call. Ling Shan's expression was a little uncertain. She couldn't tell if the person in front of her was from House Yu or not, but judging from his confident expression, it was pretty much the case. But when had she ever been engaged to a House Yu? Yes, Captain Song. Lu Wangli saw through Yu Feng and the other two, but he couldn't help but click his tongue. It couldn't be, right? Is there a poacher here? And from the sound of it, he seemed to be friends with Captain Song's family. What about Lin Yi? Ling Shan's face was dark as she walked back into the police car, quickly calling her grandpa, Song Xiangwen. Shan, why did you call Grandpa? Xiangwen picked up the phone, his tone filled with joy. Ling Shan had become old Song's pride, and so he was always in a good mood when he picked up her call. Grandpa, there's a guy calling himself House Yu's Yu Feng, saying he's my fiancé. What's going on? Ling Shan didn't have time for small talk. Oh, haha, House Yu's Yu Feng, right? That young man is not bad. How is it, Shan? Are you satisfied? Grandpa found it for you based on your standards, and among the younger generation, the only one stronger than you is Yu Feng. Xiangwen smiled. He's a mystic mid-phase. Mystic mid-phase? Ling Shan paused. This Yu Feng was pretty strong, having that kind of strength. But while Ling Shan felt that he was strong, she wasn't moved at all. She already had someone in her heart, and even if she didn't, she wouldn't fall for this Xie Feng. At least, her first impression of him was that she didn't like him at all. He got beaten up like a bloody gourd, and he was hiding it because he didn't want her to know. What kind of man was this? Didn't dare to admit it? He was far from Lin Yi. He was hurt, and he never pretended to be hurt. This was a real man. Just look at that sissy Yu Feng. He wasn't a good guy at all. How is it? Are you satisfied? Xiangwen said, pleased with himself. Being able to have a marriage with House Yu was a great thing, and Hao Song's position in the future would be very stable. As long as Ling Shan was there, Hao Song would still be one of the 9 great houses, and their ranking might even move up. Grandpa, how can you make decisions for me? I don't like this Yu Feng. I won't marry him. Ling Shan didn't hide anything and expressed her stance directly. She couldn't hide something like this, and she had to express her opinion as soon as possible. Otherwise, things would get worse and worse. Shan, why are you doing this? Didn't you say that your man would be stronger than you? Yu Feng fulfills this point, and his strength is far stronger than yours. Doesn't this fit your criteria perfectly? And he's from House Yu, a good match. I think this is a great thing. Why aren't you satisfied? Xiangwen asked curiously. Grandpa, feelings can't be forced. I don't have any feelings for him. I don't like him. Ling Shan said firmly. Shan, this marriage Grandpa found for you, is it something that all the noble houses are jealous of? Xiangwen's face turned serious. Shan, I feel like this can be cultivated, but someone as outstanding as Yu Feng is hard to find. Grandpa, I have someone I like. Ling Shan gritted her teeth. Someone you like? Xiangwen paused, his face darkening. Who is it? It's not that House Chen kid, is it? Grandpa, don't ask. Ling Shan, naturally, couldn't say Lin Yi's name. 1. Lin Yi's identity couldn't be exposed just yet. And 2. Lin Yi already had a girlfriend. She couldn't just tell her grandpa that she wanted to be Lin Yi's mistress, could she? No matter what, this was decided by me and the head of House Yu, Yu Feng's father, Yu Shuixing. It can't be changed unless that House Chun kid can force Yu Feng to back out. But that's obviously impossible. Xiangwen said faintly. Shan, I hope you won't be stubborn, and don't forget your persistence. All right, I won't say any more. You take care of it yourself. This is decided. Grandpa. Ling Shan looked at the phone in her hand, furious. What was wrong with her grandpa, who always loved her this time? Was the family's benefit that important? Was House Yu that good? She sighed, but she wasn't too worried. So what if it was House Yu? Didn't Lin Yi kill one and injure another? Lingshan believed that if Lin Yi really cared about her, he wouldn't let her marry House Yu, but she wasn't sure yet. Chapter 1171. Another breakthrough? Lingshan felt that as long as she worked harder, she'd be able to get Lin Yi's attention. She wouldn't have to marry in a House Yu then. As for House Yu, it seemed like she'd have to deal with it for a while. Lingshan looked like she had a big chest and no brain, but that wasn't the case. Before Lin Yi truly accepted her, she wouldn't bring up Lin Yi. Otherwise, if Lin Yi didn't care about her, things would get out of hand. She got out of the car and walked over to Yufeng with a dark face. Lingshan, did you ask Grandpa Song? Yufeng asked confidently. I did, but he didn't say I'm your fiancé. He just asked us to see if we're compatible. Lingshan said faintly. It wasn't that she was trying to trick Yufeng, but this was how noble houses usually got engaged. They'd see if they were compatible first, and as long as there weren't any big conflicts, they'd get engaged. Of course, if there really was a huge conflict and they couldn't mediate, they could still cancel the engagement. But that wouldn't look good for the two houses' reputation. So, seeing if they were compatible was just a break-in period. Everyone knew that this was pretty much set in stone. Naturally, but they're pretty much the same, Yufeng said with a smile. He realized that Lingshan was even better looking in person, more attractive. Big breasts, a nice body, a stunning face, and a uniform. Yufeng thought to himself that he'd hit the jackpot. Marrying such a wife would also be pleasing to the eyes. But my first impression of you isn't very good, very bad, Lingshan said faintly as she looked at Yufeng before turning to Lu Wangli. Let's go. Since Yufeng was from House Yu, Lingshan naturally wouldn't care about this anymore. If he didn't want to call the cops, then so be it. She'd done what she could. Lingshan was smart, too, pointing out that she didn't have a good impression of Yufeng. That way, she'd have some leeway. This way, Yufeng wouldn't be able to get too close to her, and this would take longer. Lingshan was confident that she could make Lin Yi fall in love with her. In this way, she could reject Yufeng. He believed that a master like Lin Yi wouldn't be any weaker than Xie Yufeng in front of his grandpa. While Lin Yi didn't have Xie Yufeng's family background, Lin Yi had something that Xie Yufeng didn't. Lin Yi could increase the strength of others, but could Xie Yufeng? I believe grandfather will know who is the most important person to the family. If Lin Yi could raise his brother's strength to the peak late phase of the golden class, then House Song would be invincible. With that, Lingshan turned around and left, leaving Yufeng behind. Yufeng looked at Lingshan's perfect body and couldn't help but lick his lips. He couldn't take it anymore. It was too tempting. Lingshan, I'll definitely get you. But from the looks of it, Lingshan didn't look too good. Yufeng was sure that Lingshan didn't have a good impression of him, but there was nothing he could do about it. Who told him to be this unlucky the first time they met? Lin Yi, I'm going to kill you. It's all your fault. You made me lose face in front of my fiancé. Yufeng roared at the sky, treating Lin Yi as his mortal enemy. But in this situation, Yufeng realized that he had broken through. The bottleneck he'd been stuck in for a long time had been broken through. He had gone from the peak of the early phase of mystic class to the middle phase of mystic class. Wahaha! The heavens are helping me. Yufeng laughed. I didn't think that I'd break through. I'm a mystic mid-phase now. Penghu and Songming felt the difference as well. Congratulations, Master Xie. Congratulations. Master Xie's strength has gone up another level. Killing Lin Yi now is just child's play. Haha, that's right. Lin Yi is a mystic early phase, and I'm 2 levels higher than him now. Killing him is just a piece of cake. Yufeng laughed. All right, let's go. Yufeng waved his hand and said confidently, Master Xie, aren't we going to wait for the ambulance? Penghu asked weakly. Why would we wait for the ambulance? Didn't you notice that all the injuries on my body have healed after I broke through all at once? Yufeng pointed at himself. Let's go, we'll go back and do some research. I'll ask Lingshan out tomorrow. Yufeng got a blessing in disguise. He got beaten up by old Zhu and broke through. This was something Lin Yi didn't expect. Sometimes, martial arts was just that mysterious. He hadn't broken through for a long time, but now he was a one-sided punching bag, getting beaten up a few times. Under this pressure, he suddenly exploded and broke through. This couldn't be considered a coincidence. Yu Feng got in the car and called his old man Shueixing, pleased with himself. "Dad, it's me, Yu Feng." Yu Feng's tone wasn't without pride. "I saw Ling Shan today. She's a beauty. I like her a lot, especially her breasts and butt." What? Shueixing frowned. What was wrong with his son today? Why was he talking so flippantly? Shueixing knew that Yu Feng was like this in school, but in front of his father, he acted like a good boy. Did he drink too much today? "Yu Feng, what's wrong with you? What nonsense are you talking about?" Shueixing scolded. "Dad, I'm just too happy, aren't I?" Yu Feng laughed. "That's a bit too much." Yu Feng laughed. "Too happy? You're this happy to see Ling Shan?" "Yu Feng, you're not a kid anymore. Why are you still like this? Women are indeed beautiful, but you're a martial artist, so you should have a calm demeanor. Plus, Ling Shan will be yours sooner or later. What are you so happy for?" Shueixing scolded. "Dad, that's not why I'm happy. It's a little, but the biggest reason is that I broke through. Dad, I'm a mystic mid-phase peak now." "Wahaha!" Yu Feng said happily. "What? You broke through? You're mystic mid-phase." Shueixing paused. "You're not lying, are you?" "Dad, how could I lie about something like this? It's true. Why else would I be so happy?" Yu Feng laughed. "Song Ming and Peng Hu are right beside me. They can prove it." Chapter 1172. Chapter 1170, Arrogant Go Huli, Part 1. "Dad, how could I lie about something like this? It's true. Why else would I be so happy?" Yu Feng laughed. "Song Ming and Peng Hu are right beside me. They can prove it. God bless our house, you. That's great news. You're so young, and you're already a mystic mid-phase. You're a genius even in the hidden houses." Shueixing sighed. It's all right," Yu Feng said proudly. "Here, I'll contact the hidden house, you. You're so young, and you have potential. They'll probably give us some benefits. If they give you a pill or two, you'll be able to become an Earth class and join a hidden house. It wouldn't be hard at all. At that time, our house you would be able to achieve glory," Shueixing said excitedly. "You're such a young Earth class. You'll definitely be a reserve for the Sky class. Perhaps our common house you will be able to produce a Sky class, entering the core of the Walene world. Dad, don't worry. I've pretty much figured out how to level up. I'll test it out after a while, and if it works, then my leveling will be much smoother." Yu Feng felt that his leveling up this time wasn't a coincidence. There was a pattern to it. He'd been suppressing himself for a while now, and after beating up old Zhu, he'd felt extremely refreshed, as if he'd been suppressing himself for a long time before exploding. It was like leveling up to a certain point, and then it'd be released. And so, Yu Feng thought, could this be the secret to his leveling up? The whole leveling process was torture, suppression, rage, exploding, torture, suppression, and then breakthrough. He felt that this was a pattern, and as long as he grasped it, he'd be able to level up quickly. "Oh, really? That's great, son. You're a genius." Shueixing was so excited that he didn't know what to do. His son was a genius, understanding the rules of leveling up. He was a genius. Of course," Yu Feng said proudly. "All right, I'll talk to you later. I need to think about how to get Ling Shan. If I can push her down, my strength will increase even more. Then you have to work harder," Shueixing added. He was overjoyed that his son had leveled up. Naturally, he wouldn't think that his son's thoughts were dirty or inappropriate. In the aristocratic families, everything was based on strength. If one was strong, then no matter what kind of character that person was, everyone would respectfully call him an expert. This was the reality. Go Huli was acting up again these few days, driving her Ferrari with Yinjing license plate and running amok in the neighborhood. Even the security couldn't do anything to her. The neighborhood was full of complaints, but there was nothing they could do. The Shao family was like the sun in the sky right now, and noble houses weren't bound by the rules of the common world. As long as they didn't go too far, the local police wouldn't interfere. Plus, Gohuli didn't cause too much trouble. She just randomly parked her car on the road, hit someone's car, and threw a stack of cash at them. There were a lot of complaints, but nothing too extreme. Today, Gohuli bought a lion, calling it a lion dog. She walked around with the lion, as if she was showing off her power. She, Gohuli, was the most honorable and powerful person in this area. And so, things kept happening in the neighborhood. Today, this family's dog was eaten. Tomorrow, that family's cat was eaten. And the day after that, even other people's birds were eaten. As long as they were meat pets, none of them were spared. And the culprit of all this was Gohuli's lion. The lion was chained up, and without Gohuli's permission, it wouldn't be able to run out and eat this and that. So, many residents were unhappy. Although they were all rich and didn't lack money, they had to demand an explanation if their pets were eaten, right? Plus, most of the cats and dogs have been raised for many years, and they had feelings for them. So, these people collectively went to the property management company to report the situation and wanted the security to denounce Gohuli and ask her to hand over the lion. The security guard was in a difficult position. The Shao family was like the sun in the sky recently, and many important people came looking for the Shao family. When they registered at the security booth, the security guard naturally knew, so they didn't dare to denounce the Shao family. But the residents were making a lot of noise, and the property management had no choice but to send the security captain and the victims to Gohuli. At this moment, Gohuli was sitting with her legs crossed, playing with her lion. Of course, Gohuli was afraid of lions as well. She wasn't a practitioner, so she wasn't afraid of lions, but she sprayed some kind of medicine on her body so that the lion wouldn't bite her. And Gohuli was someone who liked to show off, so she made a lion to show off. Hearing the doorbell, Gohuli walked out and opened the door. She frowned as soon as she saw the security captain and a large group of residents. She knew why they were here. What are you guys doing here? What's wrong? Gohuli shook her wrist, and the lion ran over, opening its bloody mouth at the security captain. Roar, wah! The security captain jumped and subconsciously took a few steps back, wiping the sweat off his forehead. He was very afraid of this lion. His face turned ugly. Ms. Go, look, can you tell it to back off a little what? Aren't you the security captain? You're afraid of dogs? Who do you think you're going to protect? Do you still want the property management fees next year? Gohuli was very arrogant. But Ms. Go, this is a lion, not a dog. The security captain said carefully to Gohuli. Who said it's not a dog? It's a dog, a lion dog. Are you blind? Gohuli rolled her eyes. Chapter 1173. Chapter 1171. Arrogant Gohuli. What? You're here to demand justice for them? So you're here for the will of heaven? Gohuli smiled coldly. So what if my Pekingese ate it? I'll pay them however much it costs. I don't lack money. Tell me how much. Madam Go, you see, the people who live in the villa area don't lack money. Don't you think it's inappropriate for you to do this? Besides, your Pekingese is very dangerous. What if it bites a child? The captain of the security team asked carefully. Bites? It hasn't bitten yet, has it? Aren't you worrying for nothing? Why aren't you worried about the sky falling down? Gohuli rolled her eyes and scolded angrily. Get lost. Go to the side and don't cause trouble here. Tell me how much you want. I'm busy. Isn't this too overbearing? Yeah, this woman doesn't listen to reason. It's like she's bullying people. The owners who came to demand justice couldn't stand it anymore. They all started scolding Gohuli. But Gohuli sneered in disdain, glaring at the troublemakers. What? You don't like it? I'm overbearing. I'm unreasonable. I'm a bully. Shao family is just that overbearing. What do you want? That. The crowd was annoyed by Gohuli's arrogant words. Wasn't she being too unreasonable? How about you be like this? But Gohuli's words reminded them that Shao family was the wife of the Shao family's head. Not many people knew about the Shao family before. It could be said that the Shao family moved into this neighborhood, and no one noticed. But these days, it was different. These people were all in the business world. Even if they weren't, they had their own connections and knew about the Shao family. During this period, the Shao family's name could be said to be resounding in the business world. Moreover, everyone also vaguely knew the identity of the Shao family. They were one of the aristocratic families, a giant existence. After hearing all kinds of legends about how powerful the aristocratic families were, these people also retreated a little. However, after all, they had only heard of it and had never experienced it for themselves. Their pets couldn't die in vain, right? Therefore, these people decided to wait and see first. Go Huli saw that these people didn't leave and was furious. She pointed to the lion in her hand. "Lion dog, go chase them away. Let's see who dares to make noise in front of my door." Roar! The lion ran 2 steps towards the door and roared at the guards of the door. Those who came to punish Go Huli were also scared at this moment. After all, who dared to compete with a lion? Thinking of the wealth and power of the Shao family, they could only sigh and accept their bad luck as they left the entrance of the Shao family's villa. Since the owner had left, there was no need for the security captain to stay. Although he wanted to dissuade Go Huli, with how arrogant she was, she obviously wouldn't listen to advice easily. He shook his head and left. Go Huli humped proudly and closed the door with the lion. She felt like she was the boss of the district, leading a lion wherever she went, and no one dared to mess with her. And this villa should be cleaned. Go Huli looked at the dust in the corner of the villa and said, before, when Go Huli moved in, she wanted to find someone to clean the villa. She wanted to hire a housekeeper, but when she saw Meng Yao and Yushu, she wanted to make them do hard labor. That was why this series of trouble happened. Ever since Go Huli caused trouble, the Shao family didn't have the mood to find someone to clean the villa. Now that the Shao family had turned the situation around, they were busy with the guests and didn't think of finding someone to clean the villa. Only now did Go Huli think of this. These 2 days, Gooden had been staying at Yuan Yuan's house, waiting for Xiaoka to send him money. Even if she didn't send him money, she should at least send him the address. But Xiaoka was nowhere to be seen. These 2 days, Gooden would go to the train station after work, but there was still no sign of Xiaoka. At the same time, Gooden realized that he had been tricked. This liar, she was pissing him off. Gooden thought that he would teach her a lesson the next time he saw her. But now, as anxious as he was, there was nothing he could do. He didn't know Lin Yi's address, and he didn't know Lin Yi's phone number. He wanted to call back to the village, but he didn't know Widow Wang's number, and he didn't know Old Lin's number. This was a black mark for a youth who had never left the village. He didn't need to remember phone numbers before, and he could find people by shouting. With a megaphone, who wouldn't be able to find someone? But now, no matter how megaphone he used, he couldn't let everyone in the city hear him. Sanzan was too big, and so Gooden could only work for Yuren's shop. Luckily, Yuren's family took good care of him, especially Yuan Yuan. Gooden didn't want to leave. Although they got the money from Scorpion, Yuren's family didn't give up on their work. They were hard-working people, and this money was used to buy a house and expand the shop. It was like trying to put out a fire with a cup of water. And so, Yuan Yuan continued to work at the burger shop, and Yuren continued to run the shop. Mrs. Yu continued to work as a housekeeper, and Gooden continued to help out at the shop. Mrs. Yu was very happy today. The housekeeping company gave her a big job, cleaning a villa. If she did this job well, she'd get a few thousand. Naturally, she was very happy, and so she happily went to get the tools and went to the villa according to the housekeeping company's address. Before going to work, Mrs. Yu even called Yuan Yuan and Yuren. The father and daughter were very happy when they heard about it. Yuren, the stingy man, even bought some ribs from the market to give his wife a treat, telling Yuan Yuan to cook it for Mrs. Yu, as well as to improve Gooden's diet. These days, with Gooden's deliveries, Yuren's shop's business went from a few hundred a day to 3,000 a day. The key was that no matter what people bought, Gooden would deliver it to their door. Toilet, basin, sand, cement. As long as you bought it, it didn't matter how many floors you lived in. Even if the elevator broke down, Gooden would deliver it to your doorstep. And he didn't even need to pay. Chapter 1174. Something happened. Yuren, on the other hand, used the money Scorpion gave him to buy large quantities of plumbing and fittings, and the business was getting better and better. And so, The more Yurin looked at Gooden, the more he liked him. This guy was his lucky star. If he became his son-in-law, it'd be a great thing. When the time came, he and Gooden would make the shop big, and with a door god like Gooden there, all the gangsters would be nothing. No matter how many there were, they'd be no match for him. Their days would be great. Yuan, are the ribs ready? Let Gooden eat some first. He's been doing heavy work the whole day. It's quite tiring. Yurin said. Okay. Yuan replied obediently and went to get a rib for Gooden. Zhou Jiaming here. Yurin called him Gooden, but naturally, Yuan wouldn't call him that. She only called him by his name. Thanks. Gooden happily took the rib and started eating. It's delicious. Eat slowly. Yuan rolled her eyes. After a few days together, Yuan had Gooden's shadow in her heart. Beauties loved heroes, and that was what Yuan was feeling right now. Gooden looked at Yuan's shy face and couldn't help but be stunned. Yuan wasn't that type of beauty, but in his eyes, she was prettier than a goddess. Ring. A hurried ringtone of the phone broke the ambiguous atmosphere between the two of them. Yuan quickly walked over and picked up the phone. Hello. What? You're the housekeeping manager? My mom got bitten by a dog. She's in Songshan's first hospital right now. Okay, we'll go there immediately. After hanging up, Yuan panicked. Dad, it's bad. Manager Zhang from my mom's company just called, saying that my mom got bitten by a dog, and she's being treated at Songshan's first hospital right now. What? Yurin froze as well. She was fine this morning. Why was she bitten by a dog at night? Yurin didn't dare slow down and brought Yuan and Gooden to a taxi, rushing to Songshan's first hospital. In the hospital room, Yurin finally saw his wife. Mom, what's wrong with you? Yuan ran over excitedly to her mother's bedside and held her mother's hand. Yuan's mother looked at Yuan with a painful and weak smile on her face. Manager Zhang, what's going on? What was going on? What happened to my wife? How come you got bitten by a dog? Yurin saw the manager and asked. Manager Zhang sighed. Your wife went to a rich family to clean up today, but somehow she provoked the Pekingese. As a result, the Pekingese bit your wife. Now her leg is bitten off. If it weren't for the timely rescue, one of her legs would have been crippled. That's serious? Yurin was shocked, his eyes wide open. What did they say? Was there no explanation for their dog biting someone? Besides, what kind of dog could bite off a person's leg? It's said to be a Pekingese, but it's actually a big lion. Manager Zhang said helplessly. The doctor said that this wasn't a dog bite at all. What? Raising a lion? Isn't that too immoral? Where's the person? Where's he? It was up to them to explain themselves. What did this mean? Aren't they trying to harm someone? Yurin panicked. You're old, right? Don't get too excited yet. They're rich and powerful, and the mistress is being unreasonable. I want to talk to them, and I almost got bitten by the lion. And I've confirmed that the dog they're raising is indeed a lion. Manager Zhang smiled bitterly. They're being unreasonable, throwing me 50,000 and telling me to leave. Yurin flinched, remembering what happened with Fighter Lee. Yeah, he was one of the people who lived at the bottom of society without any power. How could he afford to offend someone like that? The person was living in a villa, obviously not a normal person, and raising a lion. How could he afford to offend someone like that? Old you, 50,000, the company doesn't want a single cent. It's all in the hospital. And our company CEO called me just now, saying that they're from the Xiao family, and we can't afford to offend them. I think we should just let this go, and the company will compensate you. Don't go looking for trouble, or you'll drag the company down with you. Manager Zhang sighed. We're in the middle. It's hard for us to do anything. Yurin heard what Manager Zhang said, and naturally, there was nothing he could do. Even Manager Zhang's leader couldn't do anything, and he was afraid of their power. What else could he do? Then my wife's leg will be healed? Yurin looked at his wife in pain. The doctor said that it'll be fine, but it'll be a little limp. Manager Zhang didn't hide anything, but it won't affect your movements, and the company will compensate you with a sum of money, enough for you to live on. The company's intention is to let this go. Don't make a big deal out of it. Hey, can money solve the problem? What's wrong with a lion? I'll get an explanation from that woman. I'll kill that lion with one punch. Gooden panicked upon hearing the manager's words. What kind of world was this? Why were these people so afraid of a lion and an evil woman? What was the big deal? If he couldn't do it, he'd go kill them. Zhou Jiaming, don't be rash. Yuan jumped and quickly pulled Gooden back, stopping him from acting rashly. This matter was obviously different from the previous underground boxing. The people in the underground boxing died because it was originally illegal. They didn't dare to say anything even if they died. They could only suffer in silence. Could they still call the police? But this was different. It was just a pet that bit its mother. And if Gooden killed the person, it'd be a big deal, and Gooden would definitely go to jail. Yuan wouldn't let Gooden do something so stupid. And so, Yuan kept signaling Gooden with her eyes, telling him not to be rash. Gooden was an honest man, but he wasn't stupid. Seeing Yuan's eyes, he shut his mouth, but the anger on his face didn't go away. Manager Zhang looked at Gooden and shook his head. Where did this idiot come from? Was he Yuren's relative or son-in-law? Why was he so brainless? And he wanted to kill the person? Don't get bitten by the lion again. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.